We're gonna watch the video now. Get the fuck this. Alrighty. Tate's last message. How dramatic.
I was thinking for a long time how to start this video because it needs to be concise and compendious, but I also want it to be very, very comprehensive. And I guess the best place to start is at the beginning. There's been many different versions of my life story which have been put on the internet as of late and from many years ago. But I'm going to give a very, very quick overview of my story. My life has always been difficult. I've certainly had a difficult life. I preach to the people who follow me that as a man, trauma and difficulty is extremely important because
I should just let him go. I was gonna say like what made your life difficult, but maybe he'll get into that.
it's the building blocks for mental fortitude and physical fortitude.
Because hopefully he gets into it, because his dad's a chess IM, international mat, so that means he's probably not poor. Or he's probably not rich, but he's probably not poor. But maybe his life was, hopefully he'll explain it.
So I'm very, very happy that my life has been difficult because it's impossible to become a capable man or a man of my capability without struggling with facing serious adversities, without trying to overcome often insurmountable odds. I grew up in south side of Chicago.
Okay.
I'm obviously a person of color. I was bullied in school to a degree, and my father always taught me to stick up for myself. I was never allowed to run and cry to authority. I was told that if someone wants to mess with you or come at you, you can't always go tell the teacher. Sometimes you have to deal with it. I was actually picked on by these two kids.
Two teachers, jeez.
When I was riding the school bus home. I think I was around 5 and they were around 7. They were a bit older than me, and they used to pick on me on the school bus. They'd sit behind me, throw things at me, hit me, etc. And I came home and I told my dad about it. I said, Dad, these 2 kids are picking on me every single time I get the school bus. I don't know what to do. And my dad said, I'm not going to call the teacher because the teacher ain't on the bus. And I'm not going to call the school bus driver because they're busy driving. Son, if you want to deal with this, you're going to have to deal with it yourself. And I said, but Dad, they're bigger than me. What do you want me to do? There's 2 of them and they're bigger than me. And at the time, I'd just come home from school and I was holding a lunchbox. And my dad pointed and said, you have a lunchbox, son? Teach them. So weeks had passed. It was a few weeks. They kept picking on me, and I felt myself sitting there getting more insecure, and the rage was boiling inside of me. And one day, one of them slapped me in the side of the face from behind. I was sitting on the chair. He slapped me in the face from behind. And instantly, I don't know what it was, but this was the day I had enough, and I turned with my lunchbox and swung it over the back of the school bus chair and caught him and busted his eye clean open. The plastic Batman lunchbox hit him in the eye, and blood started squirting everywhere.
What the fuck?
All the children started screaming. And as I did this, the bus had just come up to a stop. It was a few stops before my stop, but it had stopped. And as the bus stopped and the screaming happened, I just got up and I ran off the bus and ran home. I've never run so fast or so far in my life. I was full of adrenaline. I just ran. When I got home, I had blood on my clothes, and my dad looked at me. He said, what happened? And I said, that kid, I won't say his name. I said his name at the time. I said, that kid, he hit me in the face, and I had enough of getting hit in the face. And I was still holding the lunchbox, but it was all smashed up. where I'd hit him with it. And my dad kind of smiled a little bit and said, "Don't worry, son. Get in the car." We got in the car and we went to Walmart. We walked up and down the aisle, and he looked and picked up another lunchbox, an exact replica of the same blue Batman lunchbox, gave it to me and said, "I'll buy you as many of these as you need." And that was the last we spoke of it. Funnily enough, I never saw that kid again. I don't know if he changed schools. I don't know what his parents did, but I never saw that child again. So even from a very, very young age, I was taught that going to authority and crying and hoping someone else is going to fix your problems is not the way a man should conduct himself.
So this is part one of the issue, I guess. We'll see if he gets into it. I doubt it, but we'll see if he gets into it. Actually, I don't know if I doubt it. I have no idea. But that's like part of the problem. Is like, so like that was your lived experience, and it seems like from your videos you're trying to apply that lived experience to other people as if it's the right way to do things, when it might not be the right way to do things. And you don't want to look into things to figure out if it is the right way to do things. You just want to project your lived experience onto other people. Because it worked for you, it should work for everyone, and it must be the right way. That's the issue with Andrew Tate. At least from my knowledge, that's what it seems like. Because you ask him, it's like, oh, I don't care about the empirical, I don't care about this, you know. Like the famous dumb quote he said is, you know, if I'm in a car with a woman, if I'm in a car with 5 women and all of them crash, or 3 women and all of them crash, I'm never going to trust another woman to drive again. And it's like, okay, yeah, fair enough for lived experience stuff, but now you're applying that and projecting that onto other people. You might be telling that to a story to a guy who's never been in a vehicle with a woman before, and now he doesn't trust women to drive because of something he heard from you. Right? Like that's
when I left Chicago,
the projection issue.
I moved to Luton, England, which was multiple times voted the worst town in England. It's a high crime rate. It's a very bad area. My mother and father broke up, so I was in a single mother household. And now I'm a person of color in a single mother household. I'm also the only American at the time in Luton. And I had, again, repeat problems in school. I was picked on for being the only American. I was picked on for not knowing things I should have known because I hadn't been through the English educational system. I'd been through the American educational system. And I had trouble in school,
So it seems like you
but I
struggle a
stood
little
up
bit,
for myself.
but we'll see.
Fortunately, nothing got violent at any point. But when people made fun of me, I stood up and said, listen, don't make fun of me. I'm from a different place, and I talk differently. And I always understood that standing up for yourself, I never went to the teacher, I never cried to anybody else. I just stood up for myself. And over time, people learned respect for me and my boundaries, and they were very respectful of me.
So this second option, that sounds better. Just standing up for yourself and saying like, hey, fuck you, whatever. But beating the shit out of somebody is not exactly like a good thing to do. But like getting up and sticking up for yourself and talking to that sounds fine. That sounds good. You're not beating the shit out of anyone, right? Okay.
And I had a very positive experience from then on out in school by simply standing up for myself, because this is how I was taught to act. In high school, I ended up having a reputation of a guy that nobody really messed with. I certainly wasn't a bully. Absolutely the opposite, but no one really picked on me. I actually had a friend in school who was gay. I had 5 main friends in school, and I was also friends with a gay guy. And he would make fun of me
Why is he separate?
for being American, and I would make fun of him for being gay back then. But the world was a very, very different place. This is many, many years ago. And we had friendly banter back and forth, but we were very good friends, and I stuck up for him and prevented anyone else picking on him all of the time. And the banter between us, the locker room talk, which would be considered absolutely unacceptable today, at the time was very, very normal. And we had a great time. We were good friends. And I heard from him, actually, after this ban. And he said, you should mention the fact that the things they say about you completely aren't true. And this leads me on to the reason I believe these narratives have managed to gain such a foothold in popular consciousness.
What narratives?
Due to the fact I've managed to develop an iron mind, because I'm probably the only individual on earth who can be vilified to this level without taking personal insult and without being emotionally affected, what I've done is I've allowed certain narratives to gain traction which I shouldn't have allowed to gain traction, because they didn't personally bother me, because I know they are false.
Okay, this is technically true for the online world. And it's kind of a two-way street of stuff. So, but they both come from the same thing of just kind of like not Not giving a fuck what people will say about you. So the first one is that sometimes drama will come out, like something will quote unquote leak or whatever, and it's like it's not really anything too big about it. But when somebody makes it, but when the person being quote unquote leaked on or whatever, that sounds weird. When the person that has their shit leaked, quote unquote leaked, makes a big deal about it, then it becomes like more drama because they care about it. But if it's something that doesn't really matter and you just ignore it and move on, then you keep streaming or whatever, and nothing happens. But sometimes a similar thing will happen in the reverse, where someone will come up with a narrative, like he's saying, oh, this person is racist, oh, this person is whatever, and you ignore it because you don't care about it, and it's not true. But people keep saying that it's true. It's like what Destiny goes through or whatever with Vosh, where Vosh will say like, Vosh will say random thing. Oh, Destiny said that cops deserve to murder, or whatever. He'll say random bullshit. I don't even know if Vosh has ever said this, but Vosh has said similar things like this. Okay, we can find the clips, I'm sure. Oh, hey guys, remember when Destiny said trans people deserve to die or whatever? Doesn't show a clip, doesn't show any kind of evidence for it, whatever, and then moves on. And then later, in a tweet somewhere, it's like, yeah, all of his fans are like, yeah, I knew Destiny has always been like a transphobe. He said this about trans people, Vosh told me, blah, 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 blah. And then that's like a narrative, and like Destiny ignores that because it's not worth dealing with, or it's not true. Like, why would I talk about something that's not true? But then it picks up steam and becomes true because, you kind of let it fester. But how do you deal with that without being like blamed as a drama baiter or whatever, or just having Vosh's community kind of just come after you because it's like you're just spreading falsehoods. Like, what about, like, because what happens is that Destiny will like, hey, you don't want to come on and talk about it on stream, whatever, and Vosh will be like, I'm not gonna go and talk about your debate, bro. Taxes. I'm not gonna join you in your stupid debate for your clout and like let you get clout off of it. Blah 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 blah. And so you run into this kind of problem where other people are allowed to kind of permanently say these random shit about you, and it seems like the best way to deal with it is to just leave the community entirely. But I don't know if Tate was able to do that. I'm not sure. We'll see what else he explains. But he's touching on a small truth here. But if we get into examples, it's hard to get away from.
I live with a very, very pure heart. I'm a religious man. I go to church, and anyone who follows me in detail knows I donate huge sums of money to the church. And as long as I knew the truth of my heart and God knew the truth of my heart, I wasn't interested in lies being purported. I now understand that that's wrong, because even though I've done nothing wrong, even though it doesn't emotionally affect me, even though God and myself know of my innocence,
the dramatics, dude.
The public consciousness has been polluted to a point where narratives are being purported which are absolutely and utterly false. And it's having a genuine negative impact on the people who I care about and the people who care about me. And despite the fact it doesn't emotionally affect me, as a man, I have a duty to protect all of those I love. And for this reason, these narratives have started to become very, very harmful. I was under understanding that on the internet, people don't like you. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you say. There's going to be some people who don't like you, and the people who don't like you are not interested in the truth. What they are interested in is finding some lie that they can latch onto and accelerating that lie as much as possible via their platforms to try and paint a negative picture of you.
Okay, but what's the lie? What's the narrative? I don't know.
A lot of these attacks against me are disguised under the virtue of caring about women. But none of these people who are attacking me care about women. None of them donate to women's charities. None of them donate to charity like I do. None of them help anybody like I do. I'm about to show, later on in this video, proof of the massive work I do for helping people. They don't help anybody. All they do is just attack me and use fake virtue, the fact they pretend to care, as a reason to attack somebody who they personally don't like. And it's very, very different to actually care about an issue or weaponize an issue and pretend to care to try and damage someone else's life. These are very, very different things.
What's going on with this fucking illusion?
And this is the reason why I have not tried to dispel these myths as hard as I could have, because I understood that these people are always going to hate me and they're always going to lie about me, no matter what I say or do. But considering in light of the final ban, and considering I have the public consciousness, I think it's extremely important that for myself and for my family and for people I care about, that I tell the truth and I make the truth known to the world, because that is the only intention in my video, is to sit and tell the truth. And the fact that I'm a very, very iron-minded individual who is not negatively affected by these smear campaigns is not reason enough for me not to sit, take time, and dispel all the negative things which are said about me. I am fully aware that not everybody is going to agree with what I say. I don't think there's a person on the planet you can find who has a 100% approval rate. There's always going to be somebody who disagrees with what you say. If I said the earth was round, there would be a contingent of individuals on the planet who disagree with me.
Okay, this is part. I'm going to call this part B, right? This is part B of the Andrew Tate problem. The issue isn't who, like, of course, nobody is infallible. Nobody, there will be approval. No one will ever have a 100% approval rating. But there are certain things that are in amongst that disagreement. There's a truth, or there's a right and a wrong. Maybe, hopefully, right? Typically. So, sure, not everyone's going to agree with you on your takes, Andrew. But the issue at hand is that you're spreading a falsehood about the world that isn't helpful and is toxic, and if it continues, is proven to not be helpful. Examples being, right? If you get into a car with 3 women, the perfect example is like this: a cat that touches a hot stove will never touch a hot stove again, but it will also never touch a cold stove. And the meaning of this is that, while yes, if Andrew Tate never trusts a woman to drive a car ever again because of 3 women that he drove a car with, yeah, that's fine. But now you're never going to trust another woman again, no matter the circumstances, because of 3 women. Because of 3 women at some other random time in your life, you're not going to let that dictate the rest of your life and the rest of what's going on. And that's kind of the issue, is that you're applying these things that will have broad, and now, even on top of that, you're now taking that projection, that distrust of women for driving, this one specific niche thing. You've now taken that distrust of women and applied it to thousands of other people that have never even been in a car with a woman. They will now automatically assume that women are bad at driving because of something you said based off of a lived experience you had with 3 women. Right? So now their whole idea that now fans of yours have a distrust of women based off of something you said about 3 women that they've never been in a car before with another woman. And now they have a weird innate distrust of women drivers just because of something they heard from you. That's the kind of the issue where, if you look empirically, and Andrew Tate has told us that he doesn't care about empirical evidence, when you look empirically, women are more likely to get into fender benders and little dents and scratches than men are, but are far less likely to get into horrible accidents that kill everyone inside the car. Where a man will drive down the highway at 155 kilometers an hour, a woman will go 100 kilometers an hour, and the man will then crash into a fucking wall and die instantly, and a woman might incorrectly switch lanes and scrape up against somebody's car. Right? That's the difference. But through no lived experience at all, sorry. Yeah, but through no lived experience of their own, you've convinced your fans that women are terrible drivers. It's part of the issue, right? Through no lived experience of their own, through no empirical data, through nothing, they now have a worldview based on nothing, essentially, besides your word of mouth. They have a total worldview, a total identity of the world, and that can manifest itself in a lot of really, really, really bad ways, especially when we get into like relationship stuff or whatever, because his application for the world is like wildly different. Like it's not applicable. It's not What's the word I'm thinking of? Compatible. It's not compatible. It's not like we'll get into it a little bit. Where his lifestyle, he's allowed to live us. Basically, the gist of it is, and we'll hopefully get into it, is that the gist of it is that his lifestyle works for himself because he's rich, he's jacked, right? He's like a top 1% man, whatever. But he's applying his way of living onto people who aren't the same type of guy, who aren't 1% men, who can't get women just based off their money or whatever. Right? That's the anyways.
I have no problem with people disagreeing with me. I have no problem with being seen as controversial for some of the things I've said. However, I do have two significant problems I would like to address. The first is I do not like absolute and utter lies being told about me. I do not like having long-form video of me cut up, elements taken out of context, the tonality of the joke removed, and purporting an image of me that is not true. That's something I do not like. I do not like false accusations of criminal activity. That's another thing that I really do not like. I am totally aware that not everybody is going to like me. I have no problems with that. I think anyone who decides to get big on the internet needs to be very, very prepared for a contingent of people to not be happy with what they say. I could make a YouTube channel dedicated to the fact that I believe the world is round, and there would be a large or semi-large proportion of people who would disagree with me. I don't think there's a single creator online that has a 100% approval rate. I have a lot of people who love what I say. I have a lot of fans. A lot of people are dedicated to my channel, and I have a lot of positivity online. And I have a small contingent of people who are very, very offended by what I say. We often talk about, in the modern world, the inclusivity of different cultures, different ways of life, different sexual orientations, and how we need to be tolerant and understanding of all these different people's life paths, and by extension, their different ways of viewing the world. I'm a unique individual, as is everybody else, and I have a unique life path that has led me to unique points of view. I think that all of the people who disagree with me are very, very welcome to disagree with me because they have had a unique life path and a different point of view, and I respect that.
That's not really the point.
I would never shout for any of the people who disagree with anything I say to be silenced or canceled, because I don't think that helps the world. I think that discourse is always going to be the way that we lead ourselves to the truth. And if anybody has anything contrary to say about any of my points of view, I welcome it. I like to hear it. And as long as it's in a respectful and adult manner, I often platform it on my platforms as much as possible so I can sit and discuss and I can learn things.
That seems somewhat true.
Because if I have a point of view and someone challenges it in a
it seems like hard to reach them sometimes.
Way, very often I have changed my point of view. And this has been really, really good for me as a person to grow and for the audience to grow. And I know I've changed many other people's minds when they've come to debate with me. And this is the beauty of being human. So I have no problem with being disliked. I do have a problem with a few things. I have a problem with long format things I've said being taken out of context, taking a small clip from a 2-hour piece of video, then with careful editing, removing of tonality, and changing my intention behind the words, painting me to be a criminal or a bad person when I am not. I do have a problem with false criminal accusations when I do not have a criminal record, and I have never had a criminal record in any country on the planet. I do have a problem with this. And also I have a problem with the fact that social media has changed so much in modern times. A lot of the things I said that are being used against me were said 5 or 6 years ago in long format video. And as of late, with TikTok, with YouTube Shorts, with Instagram Reels, it's very, very easy to take 2 hours of video, snip out 10 seconds, edit it up quickly on a phone app, and then blow it up to millions and millions of views with all context removed, all tonality removed, and makes it look like I'm saying things I did not say or I mean things I did not mean. And this is something that I can't control. I became the most Googled man on the planet, and to a degree I'm a victim of my own success because now people are trying to find any little clip of anything I've ever said, remove all the tonality, and just blow it up to try and get views to be as controversial as possible. I understand why they're doing that. They're doing that because they want the views for themselves, but they're not taking into consideration how that affects me and my personal image as a whole. And I think the things I've just highlighted has now culminated in the media believing something about me which is so pertinently false. based on videos I have never even made, purported and accelerated and advertised by people who I don't even know, with such a small piece of video from me, with all context removed, that I've now become the #1 villain of Earth, and I truly believe that's unjust. And I want to discuss that here and prove to the world in my final message that I am not any of the things I've been accused of. Regardless of whether I am banned, reinstated, remain on social media, is completely beside the point. This is just a matter of clearing the air while I have the national consciousness. I was massively a victim of my own success. I decided to accelerate my public persona and presence about 6 months ago. And I was massively successful. I became the most Googled man on the planet. I am, by the metrics of the internet, the most famous individual who is currently alive in the world today. That comes with a bunch of advantages and disadvantages. We can go into those at depth. The disadvantages are safety aspects, safety concerns, which we're going to talk about a bit later. I've had serious threats on my life. I receive over 5,000 death threats per day. So do people who I love and people I care about. They also receive death threats. The social media companies have yet to take any action against this. They were uninterested in trying to police this in any form. The advantages are, of course, is that I have a massive effect on people. And I have had thousands of emails from men saying, "You've saved me from depression. You've saved me from suicide. You helped me so much." The #1 video on my YouTube channel, my pinned video, has been for over a year. Mind hacks, how to beat depression, how to feel better as a man.
Sitting there believing that depression is some monster from the sky that strikes your brain and now you have no control over it and you must take pills every day is the absolute enemy to a G mindset. I don't give a fuck how depressing my situation. The only person who can change it is me. The only person who can change how I feel about my situation or try and affect the situation directly is me. Even if you put me in a situation I can't change, if you put me in jail and I'm depressed because I'm in jail, I still refuse to succumb to depression. I refuse to collapse mentally and give up. I know the only person who can control my mind is me. Nobody's coming to save me.
As a man.
Okay, so based on just, again, like now he's kind of doing this to himself, but he did it to himself with a little clip. There might be more into the video, and we might go check it out after this. Or we might go check it out right now just to see, I guess. But, let's see, how long is the video? You have a... Is this it? I don't even know. This isn't it. Okay, I don't even know where it is.
A man who's...
Does he have a YouTube channel? Okay, maybe I can't watch it. I don't even know where the hell they get it. Does he have a YouTube channel? What the fuck is it? Oh, his YouTube got banned. Okay, well, hopefully we can fucking watch this. Okay. Anyways, so we'll have to go off just that clip alone. But, again, it's like, there's this problem where anyone he has actually helped is probably not super, like, clinically depressed. Those words might work for someone who's just kind of, like, feeling down or feeling meh. But those aren't helping people that are clinically depressed, that have a literal chemical imbalance in the brain. You need some kind of intervention into that to stop that. You can't, through thinking about it, get over chronic depression that's literally a chemical imbalance in your brain. Like, you're not producing enough fucking dopamine in your head, or whatever, I forget what the fuck it is, to cope with life. There's a level There's a bound. Like, where's paint? We've talked about this before. There's like a level that you can't like cross over. So like this is like life, whatever. Okay, and this is the red line of doom. Okay, if you cross that line, you die. Okay, you kill yourself in a video game. Well, not in this. Actually, no, this is real life. I don't know why. I don't think I need to say it again for this example. But most people, right, are probably here, right? They have a normal, happy life, and they're mostly up here. Okay, a depressed person is down here most of the time. A person who's clinically depressed. Okay. You might be able to, what fucking other color can we do? So if we're in the depressed brain, you might be able to do some certain things to, actually, a depressed person, there's a chance that depressed person is already here, okay? Depressed people are in like this range. We'll call this depressed people have like a range here. And while some happy thoughts or whatever might be able to bring you out of this echelon, right? You might be able to come up here every once in a while. But your brain's going to want to kind of come back into the zone, okay? This is like your normal zone for your brain. Your brain's going to want to come into that zone. And at any point that you come down to below this line too much, there's a chance you fucking kill yourself. And it's over. And it's all over. What the fuck? Why is that? Okay. So yeah, there's like a range here that you have to stay outside of. And then taking drugs, right, will bring this level back up to here. Okay, a depressed person will sit around here. And now they're in the normal range of a normal human being again. And now they can act more normally. And then yeah, right, Andrew Tate's worldview might apply for people who are on the blue line, normal people who are just having a bad time, okay? Normal people can get to this point, okay? It's not that hard. But normal people can get back up to their bounding box here, right? This is their safety bracket. This is their whatever statistics word that I'm forgetting is here, okay? Their life will naturally get them back to this middle ground, whereas depressed people's middle ground is down here, like we said, right? This is depressed people's. We'll go purple. Right? This is depressed people's like normal mode. Is down here, and normal people, their normal mode is up in the green bracket. Okay, so these are like clinical depressions. Like there's a mental drug imbalance in your brain, physical imbalance in your brain that's causing this. This is not something that you can think your way out of. This needs some form of intervention, and that's the thing. That's the part of the problem what Tate is missing, is that while he's not wrong to say what he said, he's applying a worldview onto people that isn't entirely true and isn't 100% going to help people. Now, his video about depression might be totally fine. That might be a totally normal, totally fine video. I have no idea. I haven't watched it. But from that one clip, there's something he's missing about it. And now, again, you shouldn't be banned for that. Again, this whole video, I don't think Andrew Tate should be banned, just so we're clear on this. But we're going to go through some of the problems that he has. And that's from that clip. And maybe for the rest of the video, that's one issue, is that doesn't seem like he's aware of clinical depression.
Who's been through such a difficult life, I think I have a very intimate understanding of difficulty and how to grow as a man and how to become the kind of man that can handle a difficult life, because this has been my life path. This is what God chose for me. And this is what I've been teaching. And I have affected positively millions of people, and I'm immensely proud of that. I truly am. However, people couldn't stop talking about me. And when people were talking about me, they weren't doing it out of love for me. They weren't doing it because they cared about me. The main reason people were talking about me so extensively is because they cared about their own channels, their own views. They wanted their own clicks. And they understood that if they can make a YouTube video purporting a lie about me or saying bad things about me, it's more likely to get clicked. It's more likely to get watched. It's more likely to get shared. Expose, Andrew Tate is this. Expose, Andrew Tate is that. And what's happened is people, through their own selfish desires of trying to piggyback off the back of my massive fame and becoming the most famous man on the planet, have decided that making a bunch of negative videos is a fantastic way for them to personally gain clout and personally gain views and clicks, which is what the internet is about. And we ended up in a situation where
I don't know if any of this
videos
matters,
of me from long ago are being taken out of context purposefully to try and purport a narrative which is not true, because people understand that's a very easy way for them to gain some clout and leech off of my success. That's all fine. Like I said, I have no problem with people disagreeing with me, being disliked, etc. However, when it has an effect to this magnitude, where I am genuinely seen as a negative, bad influence on the world, when all of the emails I receive from people who watch me are positive, saying that I'm helping people, how I've helped their mind, I've cured their depression, it's really strange to experience such a disconnect. To have 98% of the people who email you say how fantastic you are and how much you helped them, and then 2% of unknowns threatening your life. And then everyone I meet on the street saying such amazing things. Since I've become the most famous man on the planet, I have never once had a negative experience in real life. Everybody who meets me is very respectful, a fan, we take pictures, we shake hands.
That's obviously selection bias, but usually people who hate you won't really meet you in public. But
Nobody has screamed at me in public. Nobody's come up to me and called me names in public. Nobody said I'm wrong. I've been to over 20 countries. I've never had a single negative
selection bias, but that's right.
Ever. So the people love me. At the same time, the media is saying I'm hated. It's a very strange disconnect that I've been experiencing. And a lot of that has been purported and accelerated by the fact that people are trying to gain views on their own channels, separate to me, nothing to do with me, by accelerating lies. It's also an interesting case study into internet mass hysteria, right? If 50 videos come out saying Tate's
okay, this is kind of getting boring.
It takes a lot of bravery for someone to...
Right now, he's just talking about how there's a false narrative that's after him, that's attacking him, but he hasn't explained what it is. He hasn't explained why it's wrong. He's just explaining that it's out there. Like, what is the false narrative? Why is it wrong? Who is doing it doesn't really matter, but it could be helpful. We've just circled the drain like 6 times right now where he's explained that there's a false narrative after him and it's ruining his life. I feel like we get it.
To come out and say Tate's not a bad guy. Despite the evidence, I can show evidence to the contrary of these negative narratives for the end of time. But if somebody can see, if a YouTube creator or a content creator can see, if you make a negative video about Tate, you get a bunch of clicks, and everyone else did it, well then I may as well do it. They don't sit there and go, what about Andrew? What about the truth of this? What about the effect on his life? What about the effect on his experience of the world? That doesn't come into consideration. What comes into consideration is, everyone else did this and got a bunch of views, I want a bunch of views. And even though what they're saying is false, even though some of them know it's false, some of them may not,
where is the false?
Know it's a lie. It's very, very tempting for them to sit there and do it anyway, because there's no repercussion. There's no downside to them. All that's going to happen is they're going to get a bunch of clicks, a bunch of views, a bunch of comments, a lot of people defending me because they know it's not true, a lot of people agreeing with them who are less researched. They're going to completely benefit, and the only person who's going to suffer is me. And because I have an iron mind and I wasn't emotionally affected by this, and I understood the nature of the internet, I didn't try to combat it too hard. I didn't know exactly what I should do, because I had already told the truth on repeat many, many, many times, but nobody would. So
now, again, okay, he's got to start showing examples, because the false narrative could be when he says I don't trust women drivers because of the 3 women I was in cars with and they got into small fender benders. Now I will never get into a car with women again, right? Or maybe he didn't say exactly that, but we'll be charitable and say that he doesn't trust women drivers because of the 3 women that he had bad experiences with, right? Like, sure, he'll say that what he's saying isn't wrong, but like, duh, we all know that what you say is not inherently wrong. There's nothing you can say that, like, your lived experience is your lived experience, of course, but now you're applying it to other things that don't really need to be applied to, right? So because 3 women were bad drivers, now you think all women are bad drivers, and now a double trouble is that is now being applied to a bunch of fans that are watching you, and now they think that women are bad drivers because you think women are bad drivers because you had bad experiences with 3 women. So now the actions of 3 women have caused thousands of people to distrust all women for driving. That's the issue. It's not like what you're saying is specifically wrong, but it's not right either.
Would acknowledge it. They would just ignore it because it got more clicks to purport the lies. So I thought, that's the nature of the internet. I've never been this famous before. I guess that's just how it goes. Unfortunately, now public consciousness via the media has genuinely bought into a construct where people believe I'm somehow dangerous, when all I have done is save people from depression. We talk about men's mental health. Patty Pimblett just fought and talk about if you have trouble with men's mental health, come forward.
As I said, women talk to each other. There's no stigma on women. They sit around and have a cup of tea and have a jangle.
True that.
Men don't, lad. Men feel like, oh, I can't go and say that to him because he'll think I'm a little mushroom. You know what I mean? That's what men think. But as I said in the cage, I'd much rather my friend come to me and speak to me and cry on my shoulder than me have to cry when I'm carrying his coffin a week later.
I just wanted to show the world that if mental health could bring somebody as big as me and as strong as me and, you know, the stereotype heavyweight champion of the world to my knees, then it could bring anybody to the knees.
Tyson Fury talk about it.
Wait, so, but doesn't this go against his little clip before? Of how, like, you can just get over your depression? Because if it can bring these like that guy just said, if it could bring him to his knees, it can bring anyone to their knees. And you need other help other than yourself. Isn't that kind of, doesn't it go against the little clip he had before? Where he said that you can do it yourself, essentially? That you don't need drugs, you don't need... Isn't that in contrary to what he said before? Okay.
I talk about it. Everyone tries to talk about it. And everyone says, men, you should talk more. Talk to us. I try and encourage men to be strong. I say, listen, if you're depressed, you need to get in the gym. A strong body is a strong mind.
See, but that's the problem. That's still not talking about it, okay? We all know how that goes. Men just go to the gym, they look angry, they work out, they get big, and they're still fucking depressed. We know that that's how that transpires, right? So this is the issue. What you're saying isn't correct. It's not wrong. It's not specifically wrong. Healthy. Typically, a person who's healthy will also be less inclined to be depressed. Typically, like in a small statistical area. But also, going to the gym won't solve your depression.
I sit there, and by using my lifestyle, which is an aspirational lifestyle that most men would love to have, purely because of the finance, the cars, the freedom.
But can't have. That's the other issue.
I encourage people to work hard and try their best to become the best version of themselves.
Okay. That sounds good.
Men are encouraged to talk and open up. But when I talk and open up and get massive influence and start helping people, they're going to silence me.
That's not exactly what happened. That's not how that works. That's not A, that's not what they mean by talk and open up. And B, you didn't really talk and open up, but okay.
I've been nothing but a net positive for the world. That's truly how I view myself. And that's absolutely and utterly the truth. However,
is it though?
I am very understanding of a changing social media landscape. And I'm also very, very understanding.
Do you have any evidence for that? I don't know.
Changing. And by extension, I have some responsibility.
Like, have you truly been, like, again, right? He hasn't brought anything to the table to prove that he's not, like, he thinks that he's a force for good. But he doesn't really have anything to prove it. We can look at some of his videos and see the reactions of his fans towards other women and see that it's not, there's something disconnected here. And then Andrew Tate's response, I would assume, again, I don't directly know this, but I would assume that his response to that would be, yeah, well, some dickhead guys will take my message in the wrong way and do this to women, but I don't endorse them. That's not the message I'm trying to push to people. It's like, okay, that's not the message you're trying to push to people, but that's the message that they're getting. That's the issue.
Responsibility to bear. I am a man who believes that he is responsible for everything. I think as a man, you should take complete responsibility for your entire reality. It doesn't matter if I'm struck by lightning. That is my fault. That's who I am as an individual, and it's been one of my keys to success, to never blame luck, never blame anybody else, to only blame myself. So despite everything I've just said, I still blame myself. And because my rise has been so meteoric, because I've become so famous so quickly, And because I've been producing content for so long, even though I take absolute responsibility, I'm in a difficult scenario where videos that were made 5 or 6 years ago in long form are now being cut into 5 seconds, accelerated and purported now in line with my new line fame. I can't stop that happening. But I also understand I have a degree of responsibility, right? Because I'm the most influential person on the planet. So my responsibility is to make sure that any kind of negative connotations in my messaging are removed. I want to stick to my message. I don't want to backtrack. I still want to champion men's issues. I still want to champion physical and mental strength. I still want to champion the protection of women. I still want to do that. However, I must be ultra aware of how I do that, because it would be unprofessional of me as a man to sit and say that my messaging does not have to change.
By the way, just because again, like these are funny, he's using a lot of funny like words and keywords. But the protection of women, but his idea of protecting women is keeping them at home and not allowing them to do anything except for take care of the kids, clean the house, and blah blah blah. He said stuff like that his significant other won't go on vacation unless of course he's with her, so she can't go on a vacation on her own. The only thing she can do within her free will is stay at home, take care of the kids, and clean the house. And his answer for that is that no, that's what they want, because the lavish lifestyle I'll give them will they'll want that, and it'll be okay. Like they'll have all they need at home. I will provide everything they need at home. And it's like, yeah, that's cool. Congratulations. You might be able to do that. You're a fucking millionaire. You might actually be able to do that. You might be right that some women that you meet or the women that you want will actually be fully satisfied staying at home, taking care of the kids, and their entire life can be satisfied at home. But your fans, the vast majority of them, 99% of them, cannot provide that. They simply cannot provide that. They can't individually provide for a family on their own, probably. And if they can, the entire existence of a woman, of their woman, whatever, won't be satisfied just sitting at home and doing nothing except for taking care of the kid. That's just not a lifestyle that is feasible for the less than 1% men. You're perpetuating a lifestyle that only you and a select number of other people in the world can truly take advantage of. And also, while simultaneously saying that the people that would be accepting of that lifestyle, the types of women that are accepting of that lifestyle, you also don't want. You seem to say that you want an intelligent woman. A lot of people, or at least a lot of red pillars. I don't know if Andrew Tate specifically says this. Maybe Andrew Tate is totally fine with having a bimbo housewife that just wants to stay home. But not that that's wrong, by the way. First and foremost. But a lot of red pillar communities that have come off from Andrew Tate will say things like, "Oh, I want a woman that is like intelligent, smart, and like have a be able to blah blah blah, do all these things, is intelligent, smart, self-thinking, self-aware, blah 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 blah, all these things." But when they actually come into contact with a woman like that, they're like, "No, you." Most of those women are independent women that have their own jobs, that do their own stuff, that are like traveling stuff. They'll meet a woman like that and they're like, "No, you have to stay home, take care of the kid, and do only that." And that woman is like, "No, I'm my own person, okay? I'm gonna do what I want, and I'm gonna live the life I want to live. And I don't need you to take care of me. I can take care of myself, right? Because like an intelligent woman that can like do all the things that they want you to do will be able to take care of herself. That's why she's intelligent. And so a lot of the lifestyles that these red pillars give off is a lifestyle that attracts a lot of dumb women. You can see them on Fresh and Fit, where it's like, yeah, whatever you're doing, these are the type of women you're attracting. You say that they're educated, you say that they're smart. We can all kind of see that they're not, okay? You say that you don't like these women, and you say that you don't want them, but these are all the women you're attracting. Isn't that something to like reflect on? This is the only type of women you're capable of attracting, that you say you hate, but are also only capable of attracting these type of women.
In line with my fame. The way you can say things in a video that gets 500 views is very different than the way you can say things in a video that gets 500 million views or 50 million views. You have to change your messaging. The more people you reach, the more important it is that people do not take your things out of context, right? If 0.1% of people misunderstand you on a 500-person video, that will not have a large effect on the world. But if 0.1% of people misunderstand you on a video that has 50 million views, now you start to affect the world in a negative way. So I have to be very, very, very careful in line with my newfound fame. And it's difficult because in the world I'm in, if I sit down and do a 3-hour podcast, it's my job to be entertaining. And I want to give exciting answers and interesting insights. I think the reason people follow me is because I have a very firm understanding of the English language, a very good grasp of the way to construct sentences, how to be motivating, how to be compelling. And I do that on purpose. But it's also very difficult for me, regardless of my intellect, to now sit at a podcast, be interesting, be exciting, give a compendious and concise answer, at the same time, be wary that in my 1-minute answer, at any point, 6 seconds worth of it can be taken, snipped, used against me, and weaponized. I don't know if my mind can handle all those tasks at once. It's not very often I'm stumped, but that is becoming extremely difficult. And I'm sitting here thinking I've been offered massive podcast requests by the biggest podcasts in the world. And I'm thinking, how can I answer questions? How can I be a responsible adult? Because that's what I am. How can I be a professional? Take responsibility for my level of fame to make sure that nothing can be taken out of context, but still tell my truth and still answer the questions, but construct my sentences in a way where they can't be misrepresented at all. And it's hard because I think any content creator who was suffering from what I've suffered from, if any content creator got as large as I was, and there was as many people cutting up their videos as they were mine, and those people had a negative agenda, we could make Mickey Mouse look evil. You could make anyone look bad. I'm not saying I haven't given them ammo. Of course, there's been the odd clip that made it easy for them. I'm saying if their intentions were to be as provocative and negative as possible, it can be done to anybody. And that's why now I need to take a break from all the podcasts I've been invited on, especially since I've been banned. I've been invited on the largest platforms in the world. I've had 100,000 emails of support. All the media channels want to talk to me. And I'm sitting here thinking, I need to make sure I'm not misunderstood. And I have to really be careful about how I do that while not backing down on my messaging, while still championing the things I champion, still believing in myself, but making sure I'm not misunderstood. And although I think on the internet I am one of the most respected oratists that exist, I now need to once again improve myself and improve my skills and prevent anybody being able to take me out of context. I might have to form a new way for sentences to be constructed. But if that's what it takes, that's what I intend to do. Because with great influence comes absolutely and utterly great responsibility. And I do understand that. And I will blame myself for the fact that people have managed to do this to me, regardless of the fact that I did not want it to happen. So let me give a quick example of this.
Okay, perfect. Thank God.
Before I continue, I want to say that I often
Finally
speak to the absolute beauty of women. I have a very healthy relationship with my mother. I have women around me who truly and utterly love me. I have very healthy relationships with females. I have no criminal charges for crimes against females. Nobody has come forward.
Some criminal investigations, though.
And accused me of sexual misconduct. Please understand, we'll go into
that's not true?
The Romanian house raid shortly.
Okay.
But most people in my position of fame have had women come forward and say he raped me. I'm the most famous man on the planet. There's not a single female whose face you can name or whose face you can picture that's come forward and said I've raped her. Not a single female has come forward saying I've hurt her. Not one.
We'll wait until he gets
There's a video from 10 years ago that showed me in a sexual act with one of my ex-girlfriends.
Listen, you stupid bitch. I didn't say the word listen. Did I say listen?
Hello everyone. I just wanted to say something about the video that's
What the fuck?
recently about me and my ex-boyfriend Andrew Tate. Andrew is my still great friend. What you guys saw in the video, it's just what we used to do. It was just pure game. He's a great guy. He would never hurt anyone unless he's fighting.
The left
I'm so okay.
understand that kink shaming is a negative thing, from my understanding. She has come forward and said that it was all just a game. And still, that video is being used.
A little weird
set
game,
on
but
internet, Sam Woman Beater. If I said it was a game, and she said it was a game, who are other people to then comment on our lives, our private lives, which got leaked, and tell us it's not a game? It was between two consenting adults, and we decided to do something ourselves.
I'm wondering who the fuck was recording that shit.
And she has not come forward trying to accuse me of anything. So who are others to do that? That's just kink shaming, which that's all it is. So no women are accusing me of anything. No women are accusing me of misconduct. I champion women all the time. I say about how they should be protected, how beautiful they are, how much I love my grandmother because of the amount of children she had.
My grandmother had 9 children. There was my father and 8 more. They all had a bunch of kids, blah, blah, blah. I stood there and I looked at my 93-year-old grandmother, and there was a room, a whole room full with maybe 70 people that came from that one woman. Isn't that remarkable? That nobody cared about her career. Nobody asked what job she did. Nobody asked how many times she went to the club. Nobody asked if she had time to go to festivals. No, you had 70 sentient beings, including myself, full of life from one woman who dedicated herself to being a mother and a good wife. That is beautiful.
I talk about how...
Okay, but hopefully he gets into it. But again, the issue is the other side of that coin, where you say things like, that is the woman, that should be the woman's only goal in life, is that is what a woman is his grandmother. Like, I love women, look at, I love my grandmother, she did this. It's like, yeah, but that's the only type of woman you love. That's the issue. Other women exist in the world. That's kind of the problem, at least I'm getting to, and other, you know, actual well thought out people are getting to, is that, sure, yeah, you might like some women. You might like your grandmother because she did this thing and she created like 100 fucking children or whatever, right? She created a room of 100 people, all on her own basically, right? That's admirable. But that seems to be the only type of woman you like. You don't like women who have jobs that are, like, you don't like women that are lawyers or like independent, or women politicians or women drivers or whatever, right? You like women that stay home, take care of the family, and that's it. That's the only type of women you like. That's the issue. It's the other half of that coin.
How women are unique and special, and they can do things that men can't do.
Okay, yeah.
And still these clips are taken out of context. Let me give you an example.
I absolutely and utterly love women. I have nothing against women. I believe women are the most precious things on the planet. They create life. They should be protected. They should be provided for. I would never let a woman pay for a bill. I would never let a woman, if someone touched any of my women, I would stand up against 10 men by myself and risk my life to protect her. Yeah. I believe that women are beautiful creatures. I just don't think that they're as emotionally calm as men in stressful situations. I don't think they can fight like a man can. And for the same reason, I would never drop my children in an all-male nursery. I think that's strange and weird. I would only drop them in an all-female nursery. Women do certain things and men do certain things.
Yeah, so he showed kind of the other half of the coin there. Where, like, yeah, you respect women, but only the type of women that you respect. That's kind of the issue. If I were to answer that question, right, it would be like, I just respect all women, no matter what they choose in their life. Unless, of course, you're doing some, like, horribly heinous shit, right, like murdering people, or, right? And now, maybe Andrew Tate thinks that the people he doesn't like are horrible, heinous people, but that's kind of the point of what we're trying to show you, is that they're not horrible, heinous people. Women who have jobs and don't want to stay home and take care of a family as their sole only fucking job in the world, right? Those are still women that deserve respect. That's the point. That's kind of the thing I'm getting at, is that you know, a woman that goes out, has a job, is respectable. I should say. I mean, obviously, I think that they're respectable, but a woman that has their own job, is independent, lives on their own, maybe whatever, blah blah blah, all this stuff. Those are respectable women. Women that aren't at home taking care of a family. You know, women that do that are respectable. Women who don't do that are also respectable. Like, that's the point. But
now, I believe everything I said. I believe in protecting women. I believe in championing women. I believe in making sure that women are provided for.
Yeah, great. But what's the other half of that coin? Which is that a woman who provides for herself, and the women that you champion, so a woman that provides for herself isn't doing the right job, and a woman that isn't provided for by another man, or what was the other thing you said? Oh no, sorry. The women that you champion are women that are provided for by men, taken care of by men, and raise a family. Those are the those are the women you champion. You don't champion any other kind of women except for those women. That's
However,
the issue.
that video was made when I was far less famous. In light of the things I just said to you earlier in this video, I understand that now, as my fame grows, even though to me my message is very clear, a man has certain roles in society, a woman has certain roles in society, and when we work as a team, when we love each other, society is better as a whole. I think that these views are...
Again, we'll pause one more time, and I'll let him talk for a little bit longer. The issue is those roles that you've applied into that narrow thing. Women do certain things and men do certain things. Sure, but the things that you think men... Oh, I'm so sorry. The things that you think men and women do, or should do, or whatever, are different.
Not very controversial
or like not
at all. I think they were mainstream only a few years ago. I don't think that they're controversial. Most of the people I meet in the world don't think they're controversial. The women I hang around with don't think they're controversial. Nobody on the street I've ever met thinks they're controversial.
Depends
Everybody
on what you're
agrees
saying.
with me. However,
I don't think anyone is disagreeing with that specific clip. Again, it's the other things you've said.
The way I'm saying it, the way I'm getting the message across, because I'm trying to be as energetic as possible, I understand that a small, tiny percentage of people might misunderstand me. And that didn't matter when I didn't have any views. I didn't have any followers. But now I'm the most famous man in the world. I have to be a lot more careful with how I say it. But what's really worrying is this. That clip, I would like to think, even my biggest haters can agree, is a clip that is positive about women as a whole. Perhaps you may not like my tonality or the way I structured certain sentences, but as a whole, I'm saying positive things about women. At one point during that speech, I said women do certain things and men do certain things.
Oh, I should have.
That clip has been taken, that cut of my language, men do certain things, women do certain things. Somebody, I have no idea who, has made a TikTok where it says men do certain things, and it shows videos of me driving around in cars, spending money, and women do certain things, and it shows women cleaning. Women do certain things, and men do certain things.
Okay. So then please explain your true... I'm just going to wait for him to explain his true views then. Do you think that women shouldn't just sit on? I don't know.
Somebody else has made that video. I didn't tell them to. I don't know who they are. I don't know what their account is. It's just viral on the internet somewhere. And now I look like I'm saying women should only clean and men should only run around with cars and women have money.
Okay.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that at all.
I've never seen that
I
clip
said
in my
women
life.
should be protected and provided for. But because a small clip was taken out of context and used against me and weaponized, now I look like I've said things I did not say. And no matter how positive my message about women, if the intention is to try and make me look bad, even with a clip like that, they found a way to make me look bad.
Mm-hmm.
That's the scary thing. That's why I've titled this video My Final Message, because I don't know, even with my entire brain, I don't know with all of my genius intellect, if I can find a way for nothing to be used against me. It's extremely difficult. One line out of context has made me look bad, and millions of people saw that, and people didn't see the...
So wait, why don't you just say right now what your true vision of women are, then?
long format video, and they've deduced that I hate women and that women should only clean, when really I was trying to stick up for and protect women and give my true views on women. And this comes full circle to the Instagram ban. I am very understanding of why Instagram felt like it was necessary to ban me. I am not mad at Instagram. I'm a professional, and as a professional, I'm not an emotional person. I do not do emotional responses. Although I believe it's unfair, although I believe I've been unfairly vilified, although I believe it's not the right thing to do because it doesn't allow me to shift the public consciousness in a constructive manner, although I think it would have been better for them to say, Andrew, certain things are being taken out of context. You need to be careful that doesn't happen. A lot of people listen to you, and I could have become a champion for women's rights. I am not emotional. I understand why they did it, because that's a perfect example of how people are desperate to try and make the things I say look worse than they are, and using social media platforms to purport negative views of women. And it doesn't matter if it's a negative view of a woman, negative view of men, negative view of a sexuality. It doesn't matter what it is. It should be stopped. I agree with that.
I'm confused as to why he's just not setting the record straight then.
And Instagram or Meta have a responsibility to show that they are listening to the public. They want to show that they're listening. I have some good people on the case and dialogue with Instagram.
Because okay, so what I'll explain more, because I assume that my message might be coming off weird, because it's like, because Andrew Tate fans, right? Andrew Tate will say that he didn't say these things, and I'm saying he did say those things. Essentially, is what's going to happen. Here's the issue, okay? Andrew Tate may not say things directly. I'm sure we can find some clips or whatever, or full interviews of him saying things, fully formatted, full context clips of him saying things. But it's undeniable that if any Andrew Tate fan wants to come up to me, they can explain to me what they think is a perfect woman, or what a woman should be, and we can have a discussion about that. And I betcha it's a woman who stays home, cleans, takes care of the kids, and that's about it. Right? A housewife. Someone who stays home and provides for the you provide for the family as the man, and she takes care of the family that you're providing for. That's what you probably think is a perfect woman. The problem is that other women exist outside of that. And you might 100% respect those kinds of women and say that you respect women, but you don't respect all women. Because you only respect those kinds of women, those specific types of women. Those are the only women you respect. And that's the issue. That's the crux of the problem. Is that while you say that you respect women, you don't fully do. Because there's a whole group of women that you're totally ignoring. And totally don't respect. And those are women who aren't at home taking care of the family. Right? Okay.
I would like to open, and we'll proceed as God sees fit. If God believes that I do not need an Instagram page, then I will not have one. If God believes that I do, then I shall. This is not just about Instagram. This is just me saying to Instagram that I totally understand. I just wanted to make it clear that I didn't want these things to be said. That clip of the cleaning and me being taken out of context has no benefit for me. Everyone dislikes me on the internet. Certain people watch it and know it's not true. The ones who've watched the longer format stuff of my videos and they're fans of mine, fine. So certain people remain neutral because they know it's false. But people who don't,
but what's the falsehood? What's the truth?
My family gets death threats. I get death threats.
This is the annoying part. He's gonna say. I think this whole video is just him gonna say that these aren't true, and then not elaborate more. It's not true. Why isn't it true? It's just not true. Can you show me why it's not true? Can you show? Like, can you just tell me what you think? What women you respect? Then, what's your view of a woman? Then, what do you think is a true woman? And we can go on from there. It's just not true. It's like,
there's no benefit for me. If I could stop that happening, I absolutely would. Which is why I want to adjust my messaging and adjust the way I talk. I don't want that to happen. That doesn't help me. I would love for that to never happen. And Instagram think the way for that to stop happening is to ban me. I agree it should stop happening, but I don't think banning me is the answer. Because there will always be someone else. And there will be a new hate mob and new out of context videos. And this is a problem which is larger than Andrew Tate. This is an internet problem. This is a problem with short format video, short attention spans, nobody looking into anything in detail, things taken out of context. This is a really big problem that the world has to address that goes beyond me. And if I've had to martyr my presence on social media to raise a conversation, which is going to be a net benefit for the world as a whole, then I'm happy with that. I'm happy if people go, you know what, this happened to Andrew Tate, it's now happening to other people. We have to change the way we review censorship, banning, content creation, content proportion, all these things. That's fine, if that's the life path which has been chosen for me. I just want to make it clear that I don't like when that happens. I don't want that to happen myself because I don't gain anything from that. On Instagram, absolutely no rules were broken. My captions were just poetry that I wrote. My pictures were just lifestyle. Car, house, boat. I never broke any rules on Instagram. I never had any strikes. I never done anything wrong on Instagram. The only rule infringements on Instagram were my comment section, where hate mobs inspired by these videos that we've been discussing, these videos which were deliberately taken out of context and deliberately fictional.
That music's from the game, by the way. Not that video.
Mobs were inspired at the end of YouTube videos to go to my Instagram and insult me. So the only infringement
we need to see evidence of this, but
my comment section where thousands of people who were sent by random YouTubers who don't like me would come.
I don't know if he's going to show any examples of this, but maybe. Because I feel like you could just go and sue. Why can't you just go sue Instagram for this then? Be like, hey, you banned me for people that aren't me. Why don't you ban all these accounts instead? But
threaten to kill me, mock my dead father, threatened to kill my brother, threatened to kill my family, threatened to find me. These were the only rule infringements on Instagram. Things written against me by other YouTubers telling them to go and do it, while all I wrote is poetry and
Okay.
on repeat.
Then go sue them,
multiple
I guess.
times I said on my stories, if you're going to defend me, do it respectfully. Even if people hate me, even if they're insulting me, don't insult them back. Hate doesn't beat hate. It just creates a brick wall. If somebody says they hate me, explain to them calmly that they don't understand the context. Show them a longer format video. Show them how I stick up for marginalized people. Explain I'm a person of color and I've been marginalized in my childhood. Show them how I had a gay friend.
Okay.
Show them.
Can you show us right now in this video?
Don't just reply.
How is this an hour-long video and you have nothing to show besides just saying that it's out there?
You're stupid. You don't know the truth.
I feel like, again, his big brain isn't like thinking about it. Yeah, isn't he kind of shooting himself? He wants to come out and like be more. He wants to clear up his message, and he hasn't cleared up a single message. This is weird to me.
I was encouraging all of my followers and all of my fans to be respectful people, even when sticking up for me. Once again, trying to turn negativity into positivity via social media. My Instagram had no infringements. That was the only policy. That was the only.
You should go sue them then. I don't know. It's just weird.
Targeted against me, and I didn't really. I mean, I didn't really complain to Instagram because I wasn't taught as a person to go complaining to authority. I thought this is the internet. That's how it works. Just ignore it.
I can go sue them.
Soon the truth of your heart and your character will come through. Soon people will see the light, and they'll change because that's the way the world is. People often flip-flop on issues. This is how things happen. The redemption arc is going to be beautiful. I really, truly believe that within a few years, people are going to understand that I'm a force for good in the world. And often, people say, well, don't have Tate as a male role model. There's better ones. Where are they? There are no other male role models. Because to inspire the youth of men, you need to be aspirational. They have to look at you and want to be like you. And there's no other male role models that have had the tenacity or the aggressiveness to have such a fantastic
He's
life
auto-fully showing himself right now.
that they're going to listen to me. They listen to me because of my authority, and my authority comes from my life experiences. If my mentality is
that's the problem, is your life experiences aren't accurate to the reality of the world.
so wrong, how have I managed to amass enormous wealth? How have I managed to amass huge social status? How have I managed to physically
Because you
dominate the
boxed?
planet?
Wait, what? Hold on.
I've done things that men respect, and they look up to me. How wrong? How have I managed to amass in my life as I have? That they're going to listen to me. They listen to me because of my authority, and my authority comes from my life experiences. If my mentality is so wrong, how have I managed to amass enormous wealth? How have I managed to amass huge social status?
Because, wait, what the
How have I
fuck?
managed to
Because your mentality has nothing to do with your worldview. Mike Tyson could just hate women, and he would still be the best boxer of all time. What the fuck? The German Empire became the German Reich. Fuck the German Empire from World War I. Nazi Germany became the strongest superpower in all of Europe's history. They were still wrong, right? Like, what the fuck?
physically dominate the planet. I've done things that men respect, and they look up to me. So that's why I can lead them. And I understand my messaging should change in life.
That's a little bit of a backwards application, but I can see what he's. Just because men like what you do doesn't mean doesn't mean that you should command. That you should command them at the same time, but it's a little bit of backwards thinking, because technically anything you do, like once you've amassed the fan base, anything you do, the men that you follow will respect you. So you're not really doing things because men respect what you do. Whatever you do, men will respect, and then you're saying that whatever you do, or what the things that you do, men respect. But like, they're your followers, of course they will, right? Like, does that make sense? It's a self-fulfilling loop, where he says, "Oh, I'm right because men respect me," but men respect me because you're like famous and rich and live the lifestyle they want to live. Like, having a Bugatti essentially, it sounds like what he's saying here is because he has a Bugatti, he's right. But no, that's not how that works, sadly.
Light of the fact that I can be taken out of context. But me being alive on the internet will allow me to lead men in a very positive direction. Banning me and deleting me.
Okay, but we're trying to show me, okay? Just me, okay? I'm the only person that doesn't want you banned, okay? It's not true, but we're trying to show you that the way you're guiding men isn't the correct way. That's what we're trying to get at here, okay?
Leaves a black hole where they say there'll be another masculine leader. But the men don't listen. The youth of today won't listen to anybody else. That's the reason I'm the most famous man on the planet, because none of these other people have the authority to affect them like I do. It's me or nobody. And I truly...
That's not true at all. But, I'm not gonna, like... He can auto-fellatio himself all he wants, but... Male role models exist all over the place. This is just kind of a guiding light of... He says it's him or nobody. But we had a huge leftist wave because of Bernie Sanders a while ago. We had, and then, like, before... Like, this is just the ethos of, like, humanity or whatever. I don't know how you can describe this, but... This is not true. I don't know what... If it wasn't Andrew Tate, there would be another Andrew Tate out there. I don't know what to tell you. Like, that's... I don't know. He's just auto-flationing himself.
With reformed messaging,
just jerking himself
now
off right
understanding
now.
of my newfound fame, is so much better for the world than nobody. Because nobody...
Again, he's doing the self-correct... Like the thing I mentioned before. He's doing the self-fulfilling loop again. Where he says that it's him or nobody because it's him. Right? Like... Because he is rich and famous and all-powerful and the most influential person in the world, he must be right, and he is right, and he is the only one who could do this. Because I am the only one who's doing it. Essentially, it's like it's the self-fulfilling loop.
Leads to black holes of who knows what, and it can't be controlled. And that's where the internet is truly dangerous. Speaking of Instagram, I was understanding in recent weeks of how these negative fictional stories of me were gaining traction, and I wanted to try very, very hard to counter them. I put a post on Instagram, which you can see here, where I explained that the things I've said have been taken out of context.
Okay, I have decided to show that I'm, holy fuck, stop. Decided to show that oh god, Jesus Christ, I'm dumb. I have decided to show what a loving, nice man I am and donate significant funds to charities which support women against domestic violence. However, I will also donate significant funds to charities which help men with mental health issues, okay? I support men and stick up for them, and haters and liars think that means I hate women. No, we can both win. People need support. We can support men and women. Top G has kindness for all. That sounds like a good thing. It'd be interesting to know what things you donated to, but it doesn't really matter. But that's not the point. Again, like
Context.
Again, I guess he's replying to people that were getting him banned, whatever. Again, I don't think he should be banned, but
And just because I
so maybe I'm just like
men's
looking at the
rights
wrong lens.
does not mean I dislike women. I think that men are underrepresented in the world today. And as people often say, men need to speak up. I'm here speaking for the men. I'm here trying to speak up. People are speaking up because of me. We're raising important issues in the world today because of me. Deleting me and blocking me is only going to hurt men as a whole and increase all the problems we see with the youth of the men today. So I put a post up and I said, listen, people misunderstand me. I'm going to donate money to a female charity that supports women against domestic violence. And I'm also going to donate money to a charity that supports men's mental health. Just because I support men doesn't mean I hate women. I love people. I'm a person full of love, and I want people as a whole to elevate, not just men or women. I promised $1 to each charity for every like. That's $2 per like total, $1 to each charity. At the time of my banning, I had 550,000 likes or something like that, I believe. And if I hear from Instagram, what I would like them to do is to clarify the final likes amount on that post so that I can stick to my word, because that's what I am. I'm a man of my word. I was not doing it purely just to post a receipt on social media. I was doing it because I genuinely believe it's a good thing to do. And I would like Instagram to confirm the final amount of likes on that picture so I can donate the $1.2, $1.3 million that I promised I would donate to both of those charities independently. I would even be happy for Instagram to select the two charities and confirm and verify my donation. I'd be very happy to do that because I said I was going to do that. And I'm a man of my word. I stick to my word. What's interesting to me is when I put that post up, if anybody else had promised to do that, there'd be massive positive attention. But everybody ignored it.
God damn it. It's just like there's like a fucking jumbo jet flying over his head that he's just missing of it.
Nobody in the media wanted to post about it. None of the YouTubers wanted to talk about it. Nobody wanted to talk about it because it doesn't get clicks. You only get clicks for hating me. You don't get clicks for telling the truth about me. So nobody's interested in telling the truth. Everybody ignored my charitable donations. If anybody else donated $1.3 million to charity, I'd like to think there'd be some sort of headline. But if I want to do it, nobody cares. And that's very, very unfair. What's also unfair is the people who say that they care about women and they're worried about misogyny and using this to attack me and try and have me deleted from the internet, they don't donate any money to charity. They don't help women. They don't want to do anything but spread hate. Right now they hate.
We're looping on this again, aren't we? Didn't he say this at the beginning of the video?
They'll find someone else's comment section to go into, insult, threaten their lives, insult their dead parents, hate, 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 hate. They're not going to donate money to charity. They're not going to help women. They're just going to sit there, hate me until I'm gone, and then hate somebody else. This is a hate mob. And they're pretending that they care about women. They don't care about anybody. They're just hateful. And by Instagram allowing the hate mob to be successful, it inspires further hate mobs. It inspires further hate, further division. I understand that Instagram and Meta and Facebook need to, as a whole, keep their fingers on the pulse of the national opinions. I understand that. But once we have confirmed that the national opinion is misunderstood, then we have to sit there and go, do we want to bow to hate mobs, which are accelerating and encouraging people to become more hateful for views and to get people banned via hate? When these people may be actually doing good things to the real issue as a whole, is this a good idea for us to now bow and bend to these people? And this is a really interesting conversation which can be had for many, many hours about the internet, about society, about sociology, about psychology, about so many things. It expands in so many different directions. It's actually very, very interesting. It's an interesting conversation to have because we're living in an unprecedented time of humanity where the world is so connected and we're all kind of unprepared for it, right? It's very, very interesting. I find it super interesting. It's something I've been talking about internally and I would love to talk about more in person. And when I decide to finally come back to public consciousness and do podcasts and that kind of thing, it's something we will be talking about because it's a very, very interesting subject. I'm teaching that it takes tenacity and toughness to become a credible man of merit and value. I think even my hardcore detractors would agree with me. If you're in trouble and you call the police, you want a tenacious, tough man to appear, to help you, to protect you. There's nothing wrong with being a tenacious, ambitious, tough man. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing.
Okay, but what does that mean on a deeper level? Instead of just saying those things, what does it mean to be a tough, tenacious young man? Whatever the fuck. Does it mean getting a Bugatti and that's it? Once you've gotten a Bugatti, you're done, right? Like, what does it mean to be those things? What does it mean to strive for being a better person? Because let me tell you, buying a Bugatti isn't that marker. That's not going to prove that you're a better person. Any dipshit can buy a Bugatti if they have, well, like, you can just, you know, have a dad who's rich and then that's how you buy a Bugatti. Or, you know, you make money in the scummiest ways possible. That's how you buy a Bugatti, right? Not, unless, of course, you think every single rich person is a good person, right? And we know that's not true. You're not going to tell me that that's not true, okay, right? Scummy, dipshit people can buy Bugattis. So what does it mean? What does it mean to be all those things? What does it mean on a deeper surface level than just the words?
Along with strength, mental and physical. These things are used to protect people, protect men and women.
True.
This is a protective state.
Based.
You can't protect anything if you're not strong. Strength is a beautiful thing. The world is built on the backs of strong men, and I'm trying to teach men to be strong again because it makes the men feel happier inside. It solves.
Yeah, but again, you're kind of missing the point of, like, the world is built on the backs of strong men. Is it though? Should it be? Do women not have a place in that? Is the world not built on the backs of strong women as well? Is it only men? Can only men do that? Can no women do it? Like,
men's mental health, and it also makes the world a genuinely better place. People are taking my lessons and me trying to teach strength.
What are your lessons? Okay, again, there's another like 30 minutes of this video. We'll see if he explains it at some point. But he made this video to clarify himself, and he hasn't made a single clarifying statement on anything he's ever said ever. He's just said things are not true. My message is right. My message is a positive influence on the world. And then we're done.
Construing them, saying that I'm trying to teach men to be oppressive or aggressive. That's absolutely not the case. And at the
Oh, wait.
same time, they're
He said something. Did he say?
ignoring us and me trying to teach strength and misconstruing them, saying that I'm trying to teach men to be oppressive or aggressive. That's
Okay, no, just more gotcha words that don't mean anything.
absolutely not
Okay,
the
cool.
case. And at the same time, they're ignoring my charitable donations to the world. And at the same time, other media creators are rewarded for purporting lies and spinning lies about me. And then at the same time, the media buys into this. And at the same time, we're in the current situation where this entire storm has appeared, where I've genuinely only been a net positive on the world.
Again, he's saying the thing, like, I've only been a net positive in the world. Can you prove that at all? Do you have any proof of that whatsoever, besides you have fans? And I live a good life, and there's no way I could have masked all this wealth without being a good person. Again, like, this is the problem with the messaging, okay? Is your point that to be a good person, and I've heard this from Fresh and Fit guys, that they think, that the red pill community thinks that only good men can amass enough wealth to be able to buy a Bugatti. And the reason why they want to buy a Bugatti is just because it's fun. But the ability to do that is only possible from a good guy. That's the message that they receive, okay? That's the message maybe you're not intentionally pushing, but that's the message that's being received. That only good men are capable of buying Bugattis, flying in private jets, and smoking cigars and all that stuff. Only good men are capable of that. But we know that that's not true. We know evil men can amass power and money and influence. We know that you distrust the government, right? Do those people not have power and influence and money? Are those good people because they have that power, influence, and money? No, of course, right? You don't think that, so you don't even think it's true on a surface level, anyways.
Has watched my content in all of its long form. When Instagram tells me and confirms to me the number of likes on that post, I'm going to make the donation. As well as that, the future for me, now that I will be a lot more careful and a lot more selective with the social media I'll be producing, if any at all, is I'm going to be starting a foundation, the Tate Foundation, which is going to be dedicated towards charitable acts of both genders. I have been very, very private about certain elements of my personal life, as has my brother. However, my brother has a daughter, and she's beautiful. She's my niece. I don't want her to grow up in a world where women are hated. I don't want her to grow up in a world where men are oppressive and hurting women. Why would I possibly want that? I want her to find a strong man who can protect her, who can provide for her, who can make sure she's safe, but I don't want anything bad to ever happen to her.
Yeah, great, but what do you want her to do? It's kind of that's the part you're missing.
My own personal circumstances regarding family are something that are once again confidential, but I can confirm to you that the last thing I would ever want is for women to be marginalized in the future, for genuine misogyny or sexism to take hold on the planet. I would completely and utterly be very unhappy.
Okay, but what does that mean? Because a lot of the red pill community don't want women in the workforce. Maybe Andrew Tate doesn't think this. Maybe Andrew Tate is totally happy with having a lawyer wife. I would doubt that highly. But maybe he's okay with it. But the message that you're pushing out of the world, or the message that people are receiving, is that women need to be home and taking care of the family. And that's about it. Stay home, take care of the family, and I will provide for you. That's the message that is being received by the red pill community. And now it might have other branches of, like, women should pump out 20 kids, whatever, and maybe that's not your message, and women shouldn't vote because they're at home and they're not paying taxes, so they shouldn't vote, and maybe that's not a message that you're sending out either, right? I don't think that is. And maybe women shouldn't be in the workforce because they need to be at home taking care of kids, so they shouldn't work, period, right? Those might not be the messages you are directly sending out, but those are the messages that are being received, and then branching out into other messages about women, right? If a woman is at home and taking care of if the woman's job is to be at home and take care of the family full time, then you are essentially saying that they shouldn't be in the workforce and working, right? That women shouldn't have careers. Now, you might come out and say that, no, that's not what I want. Women can go out and have careers, but But what? Like, what's the rest of that?
With that, for my own personal reasons. The Tate Foundation is going to be dedicated towards helping men's mental health and also protecting women from violence against men. You're going to see in the upcoming months and years that I'm not somebody who is doing this just for likes or doing this just for views, that I'm somebody who is doing this because he genuinely has the capability to help people. And I believed I was helping people via social media, and if that's going to be taken away from me, then I will continue my philanthropy in other realms. Please, if you want to have more information, you can go to cobratate.com, sign up to the emailing list, and my emailing list is going to start detailing all of my charitable acts from here on out. I'll be spending millions and millions of dollars on charitable acts for the rest of my human life. God has blessed me with fantastic wealth. It's more money than I will ever personally need. I already was doing my philanthropy through encouraging men, and if that's going to be destroyed, then I've decided to start.
Okay, but what are you encouraging men to do? Again, we're not clarifying any messaging you've ever sent out.
Financial aid, women, protection from violence primarily. I'm in Romania, which is very close to Ukraine, and there's a lot of problems there with violence against women and women trying to escape the country, and men's mental health issues. And this will all be detailed on my newsletter at cobratate.com, and I encourage people to follow. My other charitable acts are things that I haven't really advertised or talked about. I always felt a bit embarrassed to tell people about the charity I do, because when I do charity, I think it should be from the heart, not for likes. But I understand now that all of the media is saying I'm a bad guy, and I'm not even telling the world all the good I do, because I don't think that's the right thing to do. I think you should just give from the goodness of your heart, not for attention.
Okay.
But that's unfair for people to be saying I'm a bad person when I run a shelter for dogs in Romania because of the stray dog problem, because of the fact that I just recently rebuilt an entire orphanage because there's an orphanage problem in Romania. There'll be a plaque called the Tate Orphanage on this orphanage, and you can see here messages of thank yous from the children and the woman who's running it. I did this months ago before anybody disliked me. I didn't even tell anybody. I just rebuilt an orphanage and didn't use it for positive PR, didn't try and put it on the internet and get a good spin from it, didn't try to get likes. I was just trying to help people. The fact that the only charitable act I've ever advertised was their Instagram post. So I find it very hypocritical when these hate mobs come and say I'm a bad person, when I'm the one who's out here spending his money and time trying to help the world. And all they're doing is telling their followers to insult
Realist, what does that mean, MK?
Which one of those two things has a genuinely positive effect on humanity?
He's not even saying anything that's real. I don't even know what you mean by what he's saying. He's just saying all of this
However,
stuff
I
that he
will
is.
say again, I do take absolute responsibility because that's who I am as a man. I'm a personal responsibility type of person. And I understand that regardless of the fact I believe it's unfair, I do have a cross to bear because of my monumental success.
I've lived an extreme life, more extreme than most. I've been a multimillionaire. I've been a nobody. I've been famous. I've been a world level athlete. I've started from nothing with a point where I had to run to the gym because I didn't even have a car to get there. I've done it all. So I've lived a very extreme life, and this is where these lessons come from.
To quickly address the rumors that I'm a sex trafficker and that's why I live in Romania.
Oh, god damn it. Is this going to be the last part of the video? I don't care about this at all.
Attitude to have. I find it strange.
I just want to leave this up to the government. If they figure it out, then it's fine. I don't care what he says.
Talk about tolerance and inclusivity will assume that Romania as a country will allow me to be a rapist, or that Romania is the kind of place where rape is okay. That's an extremely racist mentality to have. Imagine someone saying that the other way around, that in this country,
probably
it's run by these people, they're inherently bad.
Wait, actually, what did he say? Hold on, I need it.
That's very unfair. It's okay. About tolerance and inclusivity. Very racist attitude.
I've been famous. I've been a world level athlete. I've started from nothing with a point where I had to run to the gym because I didn't even have a car to get there. I've done it all. So I've lived a very extreme life, and this is where these lessons come from.
To quickly address the rumors that I'm a sex trafficker and that's why I live in Romania. Firstly, that's a very, very racist attitude to have. I find it...
What? Okay.
Strange that the left and people who speak and talk about tolerance and inclusivity will assume that Romania as a country will allow me to be a rapist, or that Romania is the kind of place where rape is okay. That's an extreme...
Okay, no, I don't think anyone's saying that. I think the point is that the fake people don't like real and honest people. Okay, that's another meaningless statement. If you want, you can come on and talk about it on Discord if you want. I don't know what, or you can keep typing in chat if you want. You haven't really said anything that has substance to it so far. Okay, maybe there are some dipshit lefties that have said that that Romania allows you to be a rapist, but that's not how corruption works. If Romania is a corrupt country, which we can go like look up, corruption index of countries. We can look this up, and we can figure out who. Why the hell is that corruption index? Okay, Google's just not working. Based. Corruption index by country. That was weird. Maybe I just fucked up so hard that it didn't even. So we can look up the corruption index, and it's not that Romania is allowing you to do it, but I think in a video somewhere he said that you can literally just pay the cops off in Romania and they'll leave you alone for almost whatever you're doing. Or like he was saying that about opening up his stuff. My view on Andrew Tate is that he probably shouldn't get banned because, you know, it's interesting to see him like cuz it closes off the opportunity for him to talk to other people. But I don't agree with anything he says. Yeah. Or not like 99.9% of what he says. I don't agree with mostly anything he says, but I don't think he should get banned. But I don't think most people should get banned off platforms. But we can look at the corruption index. So like the score is 45 out of 100. So it's just above the global average on corruption. Anything? I said 99%. I'm sure there's something I could probably agree with him on. But like 99% of his worldviews, I'll probably disagree with him on. Again, you can come talk about it if you want. That'd be really interesting to have you talk about it, because I do want to talk to people that are Andrew Tate fans. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what Andrew Tate says, because he can say whatever he wants to say, and he'll obviously believe it's true, as he said so far in the video, right? He said that, you know, his worldview is the correct worldview, and he's just a force for positivity. But that's not really the point. It doesn't really matter what you think. It's what people are synthesizing and getting from him. So if people are getting a message from Andrew Tate that is not positive, and I can show that it's not positive, that's the real problem. But before we do that, I'm going to finish this video, and well, if you even want to do that, I don't even know if you want to do that or not. You can stay in chat if you want. I'm not like demanding you to come into my Discord and talk about it, but it'd be cool. I'll link it to you if you want it, but we'll finish this video first.
Racist mentality to have. Imagine someone saying that the other way around. That in this country, because it's run by these people, they're inherently bad. That's very unfair on Romania. Romania's been very good to me. It's a great country filled with fantastic people, amazing nature, great.
Okay. There's nothing to do with this corruption.
I live here because I love it. There's no other reason why I live here. They're a European Union nation. They have a strong legal system, just like every other country. And to sit here and say that, oh,
yeah, sure, no problem.
Can rape people,
sounds good.
That's very racist. I don't understand.
I'll link my Discord too, and then
anyone who's saying that and believes that,
and then you can click it when you want it.
Purporting racial stereotypes. That's the first thing. The second thing is, my house was raided by police under accusations that a woman was being held kidnapped. I have spoke about this at length many, many times. I was effectively swatted. I think this happens to all famous people on the internet.
And then you can message, you can PM me.
Especially in America.
It's in my Twitch as well if you go over there.
Somebody has got a gun at this address and he's threatening to kill somebody.
Sorry, hold on. Just PM me, and then we can set something up for a later time. Yeah.
And the SWAT turn up, and it turns out it's fake. It happened to Tim Pool repeatedly. It happened to Aiden Ross just the other day. Being swatted is unfortunately one of the things that happens when you're famous on the internet.
Whatever troll did it, you did it. You officially did it.
Well, we got swatted yesterday. It's so upsetting.
Just right after my mom arrived.
I was swatted. Someone made a call about me which was fake. The police responded, as they should. I would hate to live in a country where the police get a call that a woman's being held kidnapped and they don't bother going to look. That's not what a country should do. Absolutely, the Romanian authorities were exceptionally professional. I have nothing but positive things to say about
yeah, I'll tell you that it's not. So, like, you can give me an example of what he said. Again, so far in this video, he hasn't said a single thing about it. He's just said that what he says is right and that everything else is wrong. Or not, he hasn't even said that everything else is wrong. He just says that his worldview is right. We can get into examples. If you have an example you can bring up, we can go through it.
Professionally, turned up and investigated as they should. And they found out that it was completely false. That nobody was kidnapped. Nobody was held against their will. I was not charged. I was not released on bail. I have no criminal charges in Romania, England, America, any country on the planet. I have no accusations against me for hurting women. And people are still on the internet saying, he's a human trafficker, the Romanian police are trying to get him in trouble for human trafficking. That's not true. That's not what happened. And I've said this many times, but people continue to ignore it and continue to purport the lie because that's how the internet works, right? They continue to just keep pushing the lie because it gets more clicks or because they personally don't like me and they want to use it as an excuse to pretend I'm a bad person. I can sit here and be vain and arrogant and say they're jealous of me and my success and they want to find a way to drag me down, but that's beside the
point. Okay, so the most recent example, since it looks like he's just talking about his Romanian stuff, or actually not even a recent example, but the one thing that's like clear that isn't that's a good demonstration of how he thinks and how it's applied to other people is, and it's not specifically, again, everything I'm saying is not specifically, well, technically it's wrong, but like it's not, the application of what he's saying isn't totally wrong. It's just, no, it is kind of wrong. Anyways, we'll get into it. So a while ago, whatever, he says that he doesn't trust women to drive, right? This is a very simple one. There's more deep stuff that we can go into, but this is the one I remember the most, and it's kind of simple to explain, right? So Andrew Tate says that he doesn't trust women to drive. And the reason why he doesn't trust women to drive is that he was in a car with 3 individual women, and every single time they got into an accident or whatever, a fender bender or something like that. So now he doesn't trust women to drive. The issue with that is that while your lived experience can dictate who you are, and that's typically fine, again, right? If somebody was, I'm not really blaming him for that, right? If somebody was mugged, if every time somebody walked down an alleyway or whatever, they were mugged by a certain individual, white, black, Hispanic, whatever, and they started hating that person or hating people like that person, I don't really blame them. But is it correct? Not really, right? It's not okay to hate black people just because you were mugged by black people like 5 times in the neighborhood that you grew up with. It's not exactly correct to believe that. Do I blame you for having that viewpoint? Absolutely not. Do I blame Andrew Tate for having that viewpoint that women might suck at driving because he was in 3 accidents with women? Probably not. That's a lived experience. Those things have a real concrete effect on your mind. The issue is that other men take that viewpoint and apply it to their worldview without ever having that same experience in the real world and nothing to back it up. They automatically, without any evidence to the contrary, will think that women are bad drivers simply because Andrew Tate said it and simply because Andrew Tate had an experience with somebody else. So now a dude could be in a car with like a professional stunt driver that's a woman, and he'll sit there and go, "You're shit at driving, aren't you? I don't trust you. You're a woman driver." And it's like, well, okay, dude, like you don't have any reason to believe that. You just heard it from Andrew Tate, and then you took Andrew Tate's word for it, and Andrew Tate took it from a worldview. And then if you look at the statistics, which Andrew Tate says he doesn't like to look at the statistics on it, this is just his worldview, right? This is just how he thinks. He doesn't want to look at the statistics. The statistics, holy fuck, the statistics will tell you that women will typically get into fender benders, while men will get into horrible car accidents that will kill you. So where a man will drive down a highway at 150 miles an hour and smash into a post and die, a woman will fail a lane change and scrape up against somebody, right? Will not look into the mirrors or whatever, lane change and scrape up against somebody, and that's it. That's the difference. That's the application that he's missing. He's not talking about how men are bad at driving, which he doesn't really need to. He's only said that he doesn't trust women for driving because of a lived experience. He doesn't care about the data on top of it. And now other people, his fans, will listen to that and not trust women drivers because of something he said off of his lived experience. Which again, I don't blame his lived experience. I don't blame him for having that viewpoint. It might be fair for him to view that or whatever. It's not really a big effect on the world. But now he's taking that viewpoint and applying it to thousands and thousands of people. And that's where the toxicity and badness comes from. You're confused because you just questioned your own question, but women can't drive. He talks about reaction time. You, my friend, can react faster, not a woman, even if she's a pro. Okay, that's not true. My reaction time isn't going to be quicker than a Formula One F1 and a Formula One or a Formula 2 driver. We can look at Formula 2 drivers. They have faster reaction times than I do. Okay, they exist, and we can get into that's not true. Like we know that's not true. We can look at bell curves, right? We could bring this up, and there will be bell curves. This is wow, what the fuck? Taint, nice one. You can look at paint here. We have bell curves. Okay, so here's a. Are you aware of bell curves, right? So this might be. Make it blue, okay? This might be the bell curve for men on whatever thing, maybe height, whatever. And this might be the bell curve for. Oh no, sorry, it's gonna be the reverse of this. Sorry. Gonna look like something like this, I think. Think something like this? Oh god, this is horribly wrong. Okay. No, sorry, a bell curve for reaction time would look something like this. Women, no, not women. Women. And then men. I don't know. Oh god, these are horrible. Hold on. Fuck! I'm really bad at drawing bell curves. Even though I do them for a living. So that might be men. And then this might be women. And then or maybe the women would have to go here. Oh no, sorry, the bell curves look like this. I'm a dumb fuck. This is how they look. This is how they look, typically. Okay? So here's the bell curve of stuff, whatever. And maybe women have a, let's just assume you're right. And let's just say women have a lower reaction time than most men. So this is what the bell curves might look like, okay? Here's your average. Here's your global average, your male average, and your female average, okay? Do you get it? Actually, I'll make this red. Global average, female average, global average, female average, male average. We can look up the statistics if you want, but there are women who will, like, we can maybe ignore this part. Maybe the men's graph will go like this. So at the very top echelons, right? At the very, 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 very top of echelons, there might be, at the very top of echelons, men might have higher reaction times than women, okay? And over the average, men might have higher reaction times than women. But if I'm here, okay, if I'm an average man, and there's an F1 driver here, she has a higher reaction time than I do. And we know that those people exist. I don't have a higher reaction time than a female F2 driver. So, female F2 drivers. I think there are a couple of them, right? So there's Tatiana. She's an F1 driver and or F2 driver, I should say. I keep saying F1. Anyways, there are professional women's race car drivers that exist. What? Bruh, it's long. What's long? Cool, she's pro. Yeah, but I just proved you wrong. Cool, she's pro. But you just said that even a pro won't have a higher reaction time than me. I just proved you wrong. You said, cool, she's pro. But a pro will have a higher reaction time than I do. There's no fucking way I have a higher reaction time than an F2 professional driver. Right? And we can look at the statistics on average drivers, right? We know statistically through the statistics that insurance companies gather, women get into fender benders, men crash into fucking posts, right? Men will split the car in half, whereas women will just ding up the bumper, scratch some paint. That's the statistics on that. And women will get into far more fender benders and maybe more total accidents. I don't even know if this is true. but they might get into more total accidents, right? Scratching paint is considered an accident, but men won't, because men will smash into a post and fucking die, and the car will be totaled, and they'll lose their license, right? So obviously that statistic will be kind of naturally skewed anyways. So there's that, right? That's one example, right? He says that women are bad drivers based on a lived experience that he had, which is kind of technically contrary to the statistics on it. And he's now grabbing that lived experience and applying it to a bunch of men who have never had that lived experience, but now are acting like they've had that lived experience based on something that Andrew Tate said. And you went even further than Andrew Tate and are now saying that women have less reaction times when that's not true. On average, they might, right? That might be an average thing. But not overall. Why is this not coming through? Okay, my chat's broken, sorry. Why they want to push women to work. They say you can be your own boss and work, that you don't need a man, but then agenda behind it, it is getting them to pay tax. What? I don't even know what this is saying. You have to repeat. You have to re-explain that one. I don't understand. Why they want to push women to work? Who's pushing women to work? Women are pushing women to work? Yeah, I mean, that's something they can do. Like, who's they? Who's pushing them to work? Like, who is they in this situation? They say you can be your own boss. Again, who's they? And you don't need a man, but the agenda behind it is getting them to pay taxes. Like, I don't understand this. You have to re-explain that one.
The actual point is, it's not true. And I was swatted just like anyone else was. And if I had actually hurt anybody, the Romanian police would have me in jail, because they are a nation, a European Union nation, with a strong legal system, and they would lock me up. They have not done that, because I am completely and utterly innocent. They investigated as they should, and came to the correct conclusion that there's nobody here, and this was a false call, a false alarm.
Yeah, I don't really care about this part of the story, because
the person who made the call,
yeah,
me,
if the Romanian government doesn't find, like, I don't care about his legal stuff.
The people who make these police calls, right? The people who do the swatting. It's kind of country specific. In America, they make a call to the police and they say, he has a gun, he has hostages. They can't really say that in Romania because it's very, very unlikely. It's not likely to be taken seriously. So instead, they try and find something the police might believe. Oh, he's an American guy and he has this big house and he has a bunch of women trapped. It's a different story, but it's the same intention. The police turn up with guns. And thankfully, thank God, nobody was shot, nobody was hurt. They were very professional, very calm, as was I. Very calm conversations, very kind. Everything was sorted out very quickly. I was taken from my house. They came into my house at 5 p.m. They did a forensic search, as they should. At 8 p.m., the search concluded. They took me from my house at 8 p.m. for paperwork at the police station. And by 9:21, I was back home. And that was the end of it. Nothing's happened since. No woman's come forward. Nobody's hurt.
Like all the cameras out.
Nothing. So that's completely false. But again, this is taken, it's put in all the news, it's put in all the media. Imagine I was a normal person with a normal job.
I'm 100% against Tate on a couple of things, but he says...
This should be scary to anybody.
I'm 100% against Tate on a couple of things, but he says things that are so true that I don't sit well with a normal bot person. Okay. Again, you'll have to like what? Can you give an example on that? What are the example? And further on that, like again, you didn't explain your last point. That's fine. We can maybe do it when we set up our call, whatever. You say you're 100% against Tate on a couple things. What things are those, and what makes them not a bot? Like, what makes you not a bot for being against those things? Why aren't you for those things? If Tate said them, why aren't you for them? If some things are, you know, can't be synthesized by bots, right? If they're not true, or like they are so true, just a bot can't understand them. What's the 2% of things that you don't believe? And why can you not believe them and it doesn't make you a bot? Again, I don't even know what the examples are. You have to give me examples. But you say that some things that he says are so true that they just don't sit well with bot person. What does that mean? What is the thing that doesn't sit well with a bot person? Did what I say not, like, am I a bot person because what have I said about his women driving thing? Even though I can show you that he's wrong on it, technically? Again, I'm going to say technically because his lived experience is valid and it can lead to conclusions that I'm not really going to blame you for, but he's not correct. Again, a person who gets mugged by a bunch of white people, right? They might hate white people for that. And I'm not really going to blame them for that, but they're not exactly correct, okay? A person who gets mugged, yeah, by any like racial group, they might start hating that racial group or might distrust that racial group. I don't really blame them for coming to that conclusion because of the things that happen to them in their real life, but they're not correct. The way he made money using women with that cam site, okay, sure, yeah, that's not exactly a good thing. It's not really a worldview thing. That's just kind of how he made money. But yeah, okay, fair enough. That's not exactly a good thing he did. But what's to stop me from saying that that's just not true, like he said multiple times? That there was nothing wrong with the way he made that money. That he's the top G, and he made that money. Like in this video, he says that he's essentially saying that because he made this money, he's correct. So because he made money using camming, why is it using a cam site for essentially pimping out women? It's true or not true. Maybe he'll just say it's not true. Or maybe he'll say that it's correct because he made money on that. What's stopping you from... Why do you still disagree with him, even though he said those things? That, you know, because he's made money, therefore he's correct. Why are you still reluctant to believe or be okay with him having a campsite? Also, why can't I pick another focus tree?
Watching this.
Also, I need to pee really badly.
I'm lucky. I have hundreds of millions of dollars. I don't need a job. I don't need people to like me. I don't need social media. I don't need any of this. I can have my beautiful family. I can have my children, and I can be left alone. But if you're a normal person, you lose your job. You lose your income. You can't walk the street.
Okay, I actually have to go to the washroom so badly. Okay, I'll be right back in like 2 seconds. Don't go anywhere, okay? I swear to God. If you go somewhere, be right back. And yes, I'm in pajamas. Ah, fuck, my door. I was motivated, like the top G, to get out of there quick. Take the quickest piss ever, because I also left my game running. Look at this. Hold on, give me a second. Okay. You got an ego that I don't like. Okay, true. Fair enough on that, too. But, like again, these aren't like worldview things, but like I can understand like you not liking a person. That's fine. But like I'm more trying to tackle his like worldview, and the worldview he's pushing onto others. Now, ego can be part of that, right? That's definitely a part of it. Because, you know, thinking that a Bugatti is going to solve all your problems has a lot to do with ego, but yeah, anyways, the gist is if you can re-explain the thing you said before of with that started with why they want to push women to work, if you can like re-explain that, then tell who and tell who you agree with. Oh, okay. Can you link it actually? Can you do that? If you can find it and link it, that'd be helpful. But yeah, we'll go over that after, and then if you can re-explain the other thing, we can go over that, and I'll just finish up this video really quick.
You can't afford security. You can't afford to move. If this happened to a normal person, their life would be over. It's scary.
One thing at a time.
Okay, it's happened to me and I can deal with it, but it could happen to somebody else. And it's genuinely a scary thought. It's absolutely and utterly not true. I have no criminal charges. There's no charges at all against me. I have not hurt any women. No women are coming forward saying, Andrew hit me. Zero. The only video of me and a woman in consensual acts, she came forward and said it was a game. There's nothing on the internet from any woman saying that Andrew is a bad person and misogynist, he did this to me. Not one. It's just misunderstood clips on TikTok. It's crazy to me that I've become the face of evil with misunderstood, out of context clips on TikTok with no criminal charges. There are very famous people who have much more. They have genuine criminal charges. There's very famous people who have genuine accusations. They're still on Instagram. I have none of these things. None. I understand that social media companies feel responsible for the national consciousness and the national opinions and actions because of their large levels of influence. However, I don't think it's fair that I'm being vilified and blamed for something that isn't true or wasn't even me. I need to seriously analyze if it's possible for me to even have a social media presence for any longer.
Well, if it's more videos like this, I'm going to tell you no, because you haven't clarified a single thing.
Without it being weaponized and used against me. I would like to think that Instagram have their finger on the pulse of the world and that they're reactive and adaptive regarding how people view certain issues and people. I'd like to think that they're very fair and unbiased and that they understand that in time, when the truth is shown about my positivity and my positive impact on the world, the Tate Foundation, all the amazing
people that hit a fat dab for the fandom. Jesus Christ. I did it. Okay, clip that. I don't know if I can do that again. I don't know.
things we're going to be doing for men and women. Over time, they'll understand that there's no reason for me to not be on a platform. I understand that if I want to continue on social media, I need to be a lot more careful with my content. Not because I'm saying bad things, but because I'm saying things that could be used against me. I want to dedicate this YouTube channel, any other remaining social medias I have, my email list, and my Instagram at some point in the future to the Tate Foundation and speak purely about the positivity I'm doing for the world. Because in the meantime, and at least for the next few months or years, it's going to be very difficult to talk bad about me when people only see the money I'm donating to people. And I don't just give money in a very lazy, charitable way. I get in my car, I go on the ground, I help people myself.
I drove my Rolls Royce to Ukraine.
I bought hundreds of coats and shoes for women and children fleeing the conflict. I didn't film the refugees. I hate when people do that.
So we'll be documenting that.
I'll clip it later if it's fine. I'll do it.
I'm really relieved this happened. I feel good. I feel happy.
Top G, I can do it myself.
I don't think I could have got everybody's attention without this. I don't think I would have had a chance to make a clean break and a clean start and explain the truth of my character and my heart without this. I think that if I was never banned, I would have kept trying to tell the truth, and my haters would have kept ignoring it and kept making negative videos about me, and it would have spiraled out of control until someone in my family was hurt or an attempt was made on my life. Any of my serious fans who have watched all my content know that I've had attempts on my life before, way before YouTube, 10 or 15 years ago. It's something I intimately understand, life and death, and it's not something I wish to revisit. I feel the hate around me was being accelerated to a point of danger for myself and my loved ones, so I'm very glad this happened because I feel like I now have a chance to tell the truth. And I also feel like the social media companies are very understanding of their responsibilities and will always reflect national consciousness. And as people understand the truth about me and my heart, their opinions about me will change also. You know, the Bible is full of redemption stories. So are superhero movies, right? The guy starts off bad and then turns good. Or the guy that you think is a bad guy turns out to be a good guy with good intentions all along. He was just misunderstood. I feel like the human psyche is very intrinsically understanding of these narratives and stories. I think people understand a redemption arc. They can understand when they retrospectively look back on certain events or actions or words, and with their new understanding of his actual intentions, everything looks different. They look back and go, oh, now I know who he truly is. I understand what he meant by that. Now I know who he truly is. I understand why that was said. And everything changes. I truly believe that this is a chance for me to move my social media purely to my charitable acts.
Oh, wait, actually, hold on.
It's only going to be about the Tate Foundation. There'll be no pictures of...
Hold on. I think there's a little bit of clarification here that I can go over, but
truly
it's
is.
not great.
I understand what he meant by that. Now I know who he truly is. Look back on understanding of these narratives and stories. I think people understand a redemption arc. They can understand when they retrospectively look back on certain events or actions or words, and with their new understanding of his actual intentions, everything looks different. They look back and go, oh, now I know who he truly is. I understand.
I know, this is a really boring video.
Now I know who he truly is. I understand why that was said.
Okay, he really
and everything changes. I truly believe that this is a chance for me to move my social media purely to my charitable.
Because again, what I'll say again is that nothing, like, again, my opinion is that I understand what he's saying. I know where he's coming from. His thought process isn't exactly wrong, but the projection onto others is the problem.
Even if my Instagram is reinstated, it's only going to be about the Tate Foundation. There'll be no pictures of Bugattis anymore. Sorry, gentlemen. And it allows me to conduct my philanthropy in the physical world as opposed to so much in the digital world trying to inspire men. It's an avenue change. It's a life path change that God has chosen for me. And I'm happy with that. I really am not the type of person to take these things personally. I don't take any of these decisions personally. I'm a very logical man. I'm very good at seeing both sides of the argument. I understand the situation I'm in intimately. I completely.
It'll be really, really, really funny if, like, because he got banned, now he just does everything for charity, and he actually just turns out to be like just like a super good, like literally does nothing except for charities, and it just like a total 180. It's like, oh shit, guys, banning actually is good.
And this redemption arc, this chance to tell the world the truth about me, and focus on showing the good that I have already been doing before these bans, when I didn't want likes, when I didn't want clicks, and also undoing all the negative narratives which I've allowed to spiral out of control because I trusted in people to do their own research and come to their own truthful conclusions. I realize now that this is a fantastic chance for me. It's a massive opportunity. I'm still going to tell the truth about who I am, about what I believe, about how I believe a man should act. I'm still going to tell people and inspire people to stay away from low-quality people. If you're struggling to find quality men to be friends with, maybe you're not quality man. Every relationship in the world, including friendships, are mutual. Because if you're a quality person, you meet quality people. Male and female, that's how it goes. I never would only talk negatively about women. I talk negatively about men all the time.
What's the point of these trade deals when I have no fucking resources to trade with?
You need friends who are going to inspire you to push yourself to be the best man you can. I'm a massive anti-drug advocate. The worst experiences in my life revolved around...
I know, it's just a joke.
I've never taken drugs in my life. I've never even tried cocaine. I've never tried a single smoke of weed.
He said that a million times. He's been doing good in the past, and it seems like it's like mostly true with charity stuff.
I'm massively anti-drugs, but when I do videos saying to men, avoid men who take drugs, avoid men who are disloyal, selling drugs and trying to hurt, I talk negatively about men all the time. I told people and inspire people to stay away from low-quality people.
If you're struggling to find quality men to be friends with, maybe you're not a quality man. Every relationship in the world, including friendships, are mutual. Because if you're a quality person, you meet quality people. Male and female, that's how it goes.
Okay.
I never would only talk negatively about women. I talked negatively about men all the time.
Okay, sure.
I told people,
that's not the problem.
Friends who just
like, we get it.
Drugs
that's good.
And play video games. You need friends who are going to inspire you to push yourself to be the best man you can.
So here's a little tiny microcosm problem here, okay? A little tiny little baby problem. Don't hang out with men that do drugs and play video games. I play video games. I don't really do that many drugs, if any. But I play video games. Can I not inspire people to do better? I'm here streaming. I'm here telling people about that. I have a real job in the real world, and I, do normal things that other normal people do. Actually, technically, I don't have a job right now. I'm looking for work. I just got out of college, but, right, I have all these normal things. I'm a normal guy outside, but I also play video games. What does he mean by the quote of playing video games? Does he mean all video games pure? Right? What he probably means, being charitable, what he probably means is that people who solely dedicate their entire lives to video games, who only play video games, period, nothing else. But people will take that message and toxically apply it to the rest of their life, where they will say that if they'll alienate friends that play video games because they're like, you're wasting your time. This hour that you're playing a video game, you could be using it to grow. You could be using it to make money. You could be out there hustling. You could be the top G if you just stop playing 1 hour of video games a day. It's like, is playing 1 hour of video games really a problem? That's like Yeah, for him it might be a waste of time. For me, it's definitely not a waste of time. I fully enjoy playing video games, and I can improve my friends and improve my lifestyle while playing video games at the same time. It's not impossible to do both, but people will take his message there about video games and apply it toxically to other people. That all video games are a total waste of time. All of it is complete and utter waste of time. And then with drugs, the same thing. He says, don't hang out with friends that take drugs. 1 hour is huge. Okay, so here's the problem. Is 1 hour really huge? Is 1 hour video games really a big deal? Should your sole focus in life be 100% focused on the hustle? Because I can show you a million ways that that's super toxic. If your entire identity is solely focused on the hustle, you're gonna have zero fucking friends, because all your friends are gonna be wanting to play video games, and you're not gonna hang out with any of them. You're gonna have zero fucking friends. You might have a couple $1,000s, maybe tens of thousands of dollars. You're gonna have no fucking friends because you dedicated your entire life to the hustle. Congratulations, you have money. And that's all you fucking have. You have money and cars, and that's it. That's all you have. You've got no friends because you decided not to hang out with any of them. And yeah, now you have just money and nothing else. And now you're alone. You're 35 years old or you're 30 years old. Congratulations, you bought a house before any of your friends did. Who the fuck cares? You have no friends. Yeah, you're right. Money isn't everything. Then why can't you play an hour of video games? Why is an hour of video games huge? If money isn't everything, what is the hour? What should the hour be taken up by? What should that 1 extra hour be taken up by, if not by video games? If 1 hour is huge, you said it, 1 hour is huge. Where should that hour be going towards? If money isn't everything.
I'm a massive anti-drug advocate.
Well, wait for this, because the drug addict is a whole other thing. Oh. Fuck. Sure, why can't I do that with any of the other hours of my day? Why can't I do them the next hour? I have 1 hour of video games. So let's plan out our day, okay? Me and you, let's plan out our day. Go to work from 7 a.m. till 3:30 is an average day, or 9 to 5, whatever. Let's go 9 to 5, okay? You wake up 9 a.m. Maybe you wake up earlier than that. Maybe you wake up at 6 a.m., go to the gym, and go to work. Okay, that's what I typically do. Well, I work up even earlier than that. But I try to get up, go to the gym for an hour, go to work. I come home at 5 o'clock. I make dinner. And then what I do is I just play video games for the rest of the day. Maybe I'll do some extra stuff. But video games is my hobby. Video games is like my whatever, like potential to go other places, whatever. And I play video games with my friends. What's the difference between that and then you going and you make dinner? You make dinner from and then you're done at 6, and then you pray to God till 7, and then you play video games from 7 till 10, and you go to bed. Oh no, I know. I'm not trying to go that deep, like on purpose. I don't like. I'm not like attacking you or anything like that. It's just all I'm demonstrating is a toxic idea that people can gather from Tate's messaging. Right? Tate says, "I'm anti-gamer." Like I say, don't hang out with friends that play video games. He said right here, I say don't hang out with friends that play video games, and don't hang out with friends that do drugs. You can take that messaging and use it toxically, and cut yourself off and never hang out with any friends that play video games ever. But now you live a sad life where you have no friends because all your friends were like, hey, do you want to play like an hour of League, dude? Can we just play like an hour of video games? And you're like, no, I have to grind. I have to pray to God. And it's like, okay, like, all right, now you have no friends, right? That's the toxic version. My point, essentially, is that anything that Andrew Tate says can be taken good or bad, can be taken in a good way or a bad way. It can be taken toxically or not non-toxically. And the problem Andrew Tate has is that he doesn't synthesize anything he says, and anytime he does, it comes off really bad. Like I said with the women thing. right? With the women drivers thing. That comes off as really bad, and that's a really toxic mindset to have, that you don't trust women because of a life experience you had. Again, I don't blame him for having that life experience, but now he's taking that life experience and applying it to a bunch of other people that never had that same life experience, and you're treating it as if it's correct, if it's the correct way to think because of some life experience you had, ignoring the data, ignoring everything else.
Worst experiences in my life.
Now with the drug thing, the only thing I'll really say on this is, again, it's a little bit of both, or you can do things too much. So yeah, you can abuse drugs for sure, 100%. But Andrew Tate does drugs. He smokes cigars and drinks alcohol. Those are drugs. You can abuse those. He doesn't abuse those to the extent. He smokes a lot of cigars. He might be abusing cigars, okay? He might be a problem there. But he does those things. He smokes cigars and he drinks a lot of booze. He might not be abusing the drugs, but he's still doing them, right? So you don't need to cut off drugs entirely. Just don't abuse them. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Cool.
Revolved around other people either taking or selling drugs and trying to hurt me because of it. I've never taken drugs.
Was the last line I trolling everyone?
Never
Fuck
even
you.
tried cocaine. Never tried a single smoke of weed in my life ever. I'm massively anti-drugs. But when I do videos saying to men, avoid men who take drugs, avoid men who are disloyal, nobody comments on it. But if I say avoid having a girlfriend who takes drugs,
I'll comment on it right now. Okay, that's kind of an asshole thing to do. Depending on how your friends are using drugs. If your friend smokes a little weed sometimes, if your friend plays a little bit of video games, that's fine.
Avoid having a girlfriend who's disloyal. People call me a misogynist. It's not about gender.
That's not all you've said about women.
Stay away from low-quality, toxic people and just try and elevate themselves and create their reality to be around high-quality people and positive people, male or female. There's no gender associated. It's only the fact that the media, these people chopping my videos.
So, and here's the other problem, right? He says to get away from toxic people. What is a toxic person? What does that mean? Can you clarify that? This is a video about you clarifying stuff. You still haven't clarified anything.
Videos up, whoever they are, taking it out of context and only focusing on the times women were mentioned, which is a very small percentage, 2 or 3% of my overall content, and ignoring all the time I said the exact same thing about men or the times I loved women, and purporting this view. And I feel like this ban is the hard reset I needed to tell the truth. So for that, I'm thankful. I'm very, very thankful for that. What's next for Top G? Well, as I've said, I have built my dream life. I have everything I've ever wanted. I've done that with the tenets that I've been teaching the people who follow me. I've been teaching you the mental fortitude you need to truly have your dream life. I was talking to Aiden Ross on his stream, and he said, have you completed the game? And I guess in a way I have.
And do you feel like you've beaten the game?
No, I've hacked the Matrix and completely beaten the games. I have everything I've ever wanted.
I don't need anything else. All that's left for me to do is have a positive impact on the world. I don't think anybody truly wants to go down as a villain. Maybe some people do.
Okay, but again, what is a positive impact on the world? That's an important question to ask yourself.
I don't. I wasn't raised that way. I was raised to stick up for myself, to be strong.
And for others to put input into.
But I was raised to do the right thing. And that's why, as I stated, I have no criminal record. I stay away from drugs. There's a lot of people on social media with large...
You don't stay away from drugs. But
advocate drugs.
I guess we don't consider... Most people... I mean, it's true. Most people don't consider alcohol drugs, but...
I think that's far more dangerous for society than me. And once again, they have absolute exposure to the world. I want to run the Tate Foundation, and I would love to do it without any social media. I will be detailing on my email list all of my charitable donations, all of the orphanages I'll be building.
Cool.
Pictures, financial evidence, receipts. Please go to cobratate.com and sign up to the newsletter. It's free, and I'll be letting people know the positive impact I'm going to be having on the world. The fame I've amassed has also managed to help me amass hundreds of millions of dollars, and I don't need all of it. So I'm going to use it for positive causes. In regards to social media, I need to sit and think and work out a way that not a single snippet of my words can ever be used against me. And even though I consider myself a wordsmith, that is a very, very difficult objective.
You're not a wordsmith, let me tell you.
And I'm going to think about how I could possibly do that. So while I'm thinking,
Newsflash.
any remaining social media channels will be dedicated towards charity. If I start a new Instagram, it's only going to be dedicated towards the charitable side of the Tate Foundation. I hold no ill will against any social media platforms. I hold no ill will against any of the people who hate me or who have tried to spread lies about me. I truly pray for you all. I think that to be a person filled with so much hate that you think making videos insulting a man and encouraging your viewers to go and insult him and his deceased father and his family members, I think that is a horrible way to live. I would never want to experience that level of hate in my heart. The people who are making endless videos celebrating my ban or talking hate about me, that hate is never going to satisfy you. You need to learn to let go and live with a heart filled with love. You need to be content with yourself, because if you're obsessed with trying to hate on another person, the poison's inside of you, it's not inside of me. It doesn't affect me as much as it affects you. You can't feel hatred for somebody without it affecting your mood. So this is something for you guys to address, and I genuinely pray for you. I have no ill will against any of my haters. I have no ill will against any social media companies. I have no ill will against anybody. To follow me and keep up with me, please sign up to the newsletter on CobraTate.com. Anybody who would like to send me a message of support, I've already had hundreds of thousands already. Thank you guys so much. It's very reassuring to me in times like this to hear from all of you, letting me know that I saved you from depression, that I helped you feel better about yourselves. I'm the reason your marriage is working. I inspired you to send your son to the gym.
Jesus,
I love hearing these things. And you can send me an email at the email address below, tate@cobratate.com. Please send it to me. I really love hearing these things. And knowing I had such a positive impact on the world is what's allowed me to ignore so much of this hate storm that's been purported. My social media presence is something that, if it remains, will be curated in a way that it's nearly impossible to be seen as a negative for the world. I'm a force for positivity and I'm a force for truth. This is the truth of my nature and the truth of my name. Anybody who wants comment or to reach out to me, you can find ways to do that. Any media organizations who would like to speak to me, you can do that through...
Oh, God, please.
...companies who want to represent me will be ways of contacting me. But I just want the world to know, in my final statement, that if you're a supporter of mine, and I know most of you are, please explain the truth in a respectful manner. Telling these hate-filled people that they're wrong and calling them names, well, these people are not happy people.
I don't know how an
It's
airport
happy
with
people
these
don't.
planes.
Tell them the truth. Show them that the content is out of context. Show them the long format content. Say all the ways I've helped you. And I really believe by being a genuinely professional, logical, positive person, you guys can change public consciousness for me. And time is a beautiful thing. It's amazing how things change with time. And in the meantime, I'm going to enjoy my fantastic life, which I've managed to build with all of the tenacity and mental strength that I try and teach my fans. You know how to reach me. And I'll finish with a quote from my late father. My unmatched perspicacity, coupled with sheer indefatigability, makes me a feared opponent in any realm of human endeavor.
Are you trying to keep up being like as viral as you are forever? Or not forever, but like for...
This is stage one of a 3-step plan. So I'm going to be viral for a little bit longer, then step 2 begins. The conquest is continuing.
So this is just the beginning. Because like a lot of people are saying like you're going to fall off soon. This is just your 15 minutes.
No problem.
Hey, I don't
What's
really
your take
care
on that?
about
That's
who's
fine.
a good person or a bad person. It's about how you're affecting people. You may say that you're a good person, right? Hitler said he was a good person. Hitler. Wow. Deep. Insightful. Yeah, that didn't really clear up anything. There's nothing that was really cleared up there. I mean, that's disappointing. We'll see where things go from here, I guess. Again, MK, if you want to talk to me at some point, I linked you my Discord. Join it and let me know who you are in there, and then or just PM me. We can set something up. If anyone else wants to talk to me about it, please do so. I'll link my Discord in the comment below. I'll make this into a clip, whatever, to post on YouTube. I'll link my Discord there. We could have a little chat. Little top G chat. But yeah, I mean, he didn't really, to summarize my thoughts on the video, he didn't really clear anything up. My opinions on him haven't really changed. Not that they were that negative in the first place to begin with, really. I don't really have like super negative or positive views of people. I just see their effect on the world. Yeah, I know, but it's a YouTube video. I understand that. It's called, you know, what if 1 million people see this, huh, punk? It's gonna be a YouTube video later. Don't disrespect my aspirations. Anyways. Take the wind out of my sails there, bud. Yeah. In summary, there's kind of like that. It didn't really clear anything up. Didn't really offer me anything new. I still kind of hold relatively the same opinion I did before, which is that his messaging, while surface level may not sound bad, can easily be taken in very toxic ways, and have been taken in very toxic ways. I don't know. I've already forgotten. Nimrod? Numbskull? Bruh? Yeah. So yeah, like, I mean, Red Pill community seems to have taken it in a very negative way and have applied it in very toxic ways. The kind of messaging that Andrew Tate seems to give off. If you want to talk about it, come talk about it.